Welcome everyone back again today. Clobby'S Clubhouse number, whatever it is, but it's Clobberin times 248. Not that's on YouTube, of course, 948 overall. And hello, my wonderful friends, of course. As always, I'm so honored to be joined by the greatest first officer in the fleet, Raquel Briggs.
Good evening, Captain.
Hey.
And for the whole chat.
That I was wondering what that was. I was wondering if he'd forgotten. And what's that? I'll look at that. I'll get distracted when something goes to the private chat. I always think.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was something.
That's all right.
Maybe the show too. Yep.
All right, dude. Thanks. And of course,
we're doing engineering work.
The great engineer Mark D. with OC. What's up, dude?
Hail. Yep.
Welcome.
Doing good. A little tired today, but we'll see if I make it through the show. But
dude, anytime, man. Anytime you have to run, we'll bring in a replacement. We know one. No. We know another engineer.
You're gonna clone me? I know.
No, I think you know who I'm joking about.
Mirror Universe. Yep.
No, yeah. Well, I'll put it in the private chat who I was joking about.
Yep.
And you're gonna probably guess it. There you go.
I'm gonna check the private chat. Doodah. Oh, there it is.
Welcome everyone. Good to see you all here tonight. The great phantom outsider. What's up, my friend? Hello. Good to see you. And all out the man is here. Stuart Mitchell. Never forget. Dolly had braces. Keep fighting that good fight. Let's see here. Snorty Pooper Scuba.
Cuber.
Oh my goodness. Steve Mitchum. What's up, brother?
Good evening, Steve Mitchum.
Good to see you, man. Let's see who else we got here. Up in here. Hungry Boy Buddy. There you go, man. Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Oh, Anti-Derivative Jill. Hey. Good to see you.
Oh, Steve Mitchum, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. I love making things for Clobby. It's a ton of fun. He's so easy to work with. I just do like a little storyboard where I ask him questions, and then he sort of describes the images or sends the images to me, and then I work through them and I make them for him, and I thoroughly enjoy them. So I'm glad everybody loves them so much. You guys are so generous with your praise. Thank you so much. I enjoy it because I love Clobby, so it's cool that you like it. Thank you.
And Clobby loves you. Kal-El, buddy. What's up? Good to see you, Kal-El. Hey, man.
Good evening, Kal-El.
Let's see here. John Pontoero. Pontoero, is that how you say that? Well, hello, John. Sorry if I'm messing up that last name, but Pontoero, I suppose.
Oh, nice.
I think, if I'm getting it wrong, John can correct me, but John, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Or maybe once or twice, I think.
I think John might have been here.
Yeah, well, welcome, John, one way or the other.
Nice to meet you, John.
JPRPH1, John, and another John. John, good to see you, John and John. It's like Buckaroo Bonsai. John. Dave Bob, brother, what's up, Tudor? Good to see you. Always a pleasure, man. Always great to see the great Dave Bobster in here.
Good evening.
Well, before we get started with some show notes, I would always like to start out with I want my wonderful first officer to mention her literary works and where one can find them. There you go.
Oh my goodness. Before we even talk about my short story collection, I write science fiction short stories, and I'm putting together a short story collection. But before I even get into that, I have to say, wow, you guys have been so great. Thank you so much for the reviews. They have been so helpful to me. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, local publishers aren't really interested in short story collections. As a matter of fact, most publishers aren't interested in short story collections unless an author can demonstrate that they have a willing audience. And that strikes me as strange because, short stories are a wonderful tradition. And I write in the tradition of Edgar Allan Poe, H.G. Wells, Philip K. Dick. I love short stories, but like comics, that they're short, they're sweet, and they're beautiful. And I'm trying to get someone to publish them. And so if you could please go to Amazon and look up R.M. Briggs and look up my science fiction short stories and leave a review for them. They're all under $1. I'm selling them separately until I can put together an audience for that short story collection. I would be so grateful. And I just have to say once again, wow, you guys, the reviews you have been leaving me are so loving and caring and insightful and just absolutely wonderful. And I'm so grateful to you. Thank you, everyone. One and all, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And there is the info right there, folks. Thank you so much. Please go and check those out. And let's go. What am I doing with that damn trash here? Hey, Darius Montrose. What's up, my friend? I want to thank everyone, by the way, who joined us on today's Global Geek Gang. It was a smash up. It was so much fun. Really appreciated everyone hanging out with us. And the audience, of course, and those who showed up with the gang. Almost had a full house the whole time, even early on. So,
yay!
It was great stuff, and we had a lot of fun. Didn't do anything in particular, but I got an announcement that tells you we're going to be doing something specific next week. But first, show notes. Saturday night Star Trek once again ending the season 3. We will review the last 2 episodes of season 3, and we're going to tack on the first episode of season 4 because it's the 2-parter best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. I can't stop talking like this. I might do the whole show like this tonight. And up first would be transfigurations. I don't even know what a transfigure is, but we will find out tonight on Monday Night Football. Oh, sorry.
Monday Night Football?
I don't know. I get into how it goes so and I can't stop.
Yeah,
so,
great.
Well, I have some puppies doing some Friday Night Football in the background.
And we have a grudge match between 2 of the most fierce competitors in the wild. Absolute monstrosities. They weigh in at exactly 1 pound each, and they are. Sorry.
He's right. They are 1 pound.
I can
You
hear
keep
him,
doing your show notes. I'm gonna hit mute. I'm still here, folks.
Okay.
I got a protest. I think we have to wait 3 months between the reviews for Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and 2.
Well, you go ahead and wait.
God, what a oh God, that was horrible when it was like fire.
Well,
like what a cliffhanger. I'm sure you'll talk about that, but
yeah, it's damn cliffhangers, but that's what you get.
It made it work even better, I think, though. Well, looking back, I liked it. Although at that moment, I was like, "Oh, you can't do this to us." Yeah, but it made for a good summer to talk about all the theories. So
I would like to interject very briefly just to thank our communications officer on Saturday Night Star Trek, the wonderful and nerdy anti-derivative Jill, as she has put forth our card for that evening. Thank you so much, Communications Officer Jill.
Communications Officer Jill. Thank you, Jill. Anyway, Monday night, 24/7. My old bud, 24/7 will join me. We'll do a little bit of comics, steals, and deals. He can tell you how to find good prices on comics online. That's his shtick. And, of course, we'll just talk a little bit about comics in general. And I hadn't hung out with him in a while, and we'll do a little bit of that. And then Wednesday night. I'm not sure what I'm doing Wednesday night yet. It could be a wild card. It could just be me and you folks like it was last night. And by the way, thank you all for hanging out with me last night. Considering what YouTube did or whatever, I can't believe how many people were there. And I'm honored and flattered that you all were there. So thank you and had a great time hanging out with you. So a week from today on the Global Geek Gang, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, tentatively timed, of course, next Thursday, November 18th. We're going to talk about Doctor Who. It's going to who we love. And it means we're going to talk about the Doctor Who episode, just going to talk positively about what we love about Doctor Who. I'm going to have a round table. I've got a couple of big-time Doctor Who channels coming in here that I'm going to, you can only get 10 people on one of these channels. Noel with TARDIS Zone, my buddy's going to join me. Dan with the Space Book, hopefully he's going to join me as well. My buddy Problem Being should be joining us. Trying to get the Great Bills Trek. He's going to say if he can make it, he'll make it. And I'm a big fan of his channel. Have been for a long time. No, we'll see. I don't know if he can make it or not. But we're going to talk about, because look, rightly so. We've been talking about all the Doctor Who and all the horrible things that have happened to it. And just disgusting things like Star Trek, like Star Wars, like comics. It's been debased and defiled. But this is the anniversary coming up. We're just 2 years shy of the 60th anniversary. It's been ruined since the 50th, in my opinion. But instead of focusing on that, which you have to do, we have to call it out. So it's definitely something that I'm glad that we do. But this time we're going to just celebrate what we love about the show and whatever again, I'm going to have, like I said, a few other people coming in and then the rest of the Global Gang who is, the ones who are Doctor Who fans. Some of them may not be, but we'll have a full crew and I'm going to run it like those other roundtables. It won't be chaos. I'm going to go to everyone, let them have their say. I'm going to moderate it and everything like that. So we can let everyone have their say about what they love about Doctor Who, multifaceted. We're going to go into all of it and talk about our origins with it and favorite doctors, of course, favorite stories, of course. And I think maybe that Wednesday night, in fact, I'm almost sure now, I'm probably going to count down my top 25 Doctor Who episodes. So now that, I think
yep. And
I've
you're
talked
missing
myself
someone.
into it.
You're missing someone from that image I noticed.
No,
yep.
I'm not.
Peter Cushing.
He doesn't belong.
I know, Joe. I was just trying to rile you up.
I love Peter Cushing.
I know. I'm teasing.
I didn't know you knew that. Okay.
But I was today I didn't have much sleep. I had a huge project to get done for a charity group I'm working with. So I volunteered stupidly, as the missus says, you volunteer for too much stuff to do, like the program book, which is
yes.
Is a big, and you're getting ads and it's donations. It's for kids, for youth sports. So it's, it's a nice cause for town. But so I said, we're talking on the pre-show, I was joking as I was trying to get some sleep. So I figured I'd put the new Doctor Who on.
Yes.
It was just on the first 2 episodes, but it's too annoying to
go to sleep.
Go to sleep. But Jodie is just, we're talking before, and she's just such a horrible actress at Doctor Who that, even these, when I was saying too, I mean, the new Who is a travesty, what they did with the Timeless Child, and I can't stand everything. But this first 2 episodes actually had a glimmer of some decent sci-fi writing, but she just can't pull it off. So there's one scene where she's like, I'm here to protect the Earth. You know how Matt Smith was able to pull that off. He goes from, joking around to serious in that first, was it the first episode or the second episode where he, basically scares the aliens away just by giving, I'm the doctor speech.
In his first one. Good night, Dave. Hey, Mazarus. Yeah, good.
And he gives that fantastic speech, and you're like, wow, then he owns the doctor character, even though he's a young kid, and you think, relatively young, and you think, oh, is he going to be able to pull this off? But she's like talking to Sontaran. She's this other creature's like, the Earth is under my protection, and you're laughing at her. It's just,
it's terrible.
It's just but the story actually had some, of course, they're bringing back the Weeping Angels again. And they've got some redoing that, but they've got like some new villains. At least they did some new villains, and they were asleep. I'm sure I'm not spoiling anything. I know most people don't want to watch it, but she just can't pull off like Jojo Martin. She was actually had so much more gravitas as the Doctor in those few seconds that Jodie did. So it just it's just such a drag on the series. So even when you have, and I think this is one of the first I've watched them all, and I think every story has been horrible, and I think this is the one I'm like, wow, that actually had a couple of decent elements in there, but it's just a wreck when she's the Doctor. I mean, and then of course they've destroyed the whole history of the Doctor and ruined the whole which we should like you said, focus on what we love, but yeah, so it didn't put me to sleep, unfortunately. I was hoping it would.
Sucks too bad to sleep through it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to focus on the good for a change and the things we love about the show on that because it's his anniversary and I can't. What's it? I watched the first 2 episodes of Doctor Who Flux out of morbid curiosity. It's bad. I believe it's Stewart. I mean, Bowles tore it to pieces, and yeah, it's deservedly so. And Gary and Az, I think, tore it up pretty good. And for the first time, I watched all of the Jodie filth until now. I don't have it on. I don't have a BBC America anymore, and I have no inclination to go and try to seek it out and watch it by other means. I'm not going to put myself through that anymore. That's why we pay Gary and Az the big bucks.
Yep.
Let them suffer.
Yeah, I suffered tonight too. It is bad. I mean, even though I'm just saying there's some inklings of a story back there finally that wasn't preachy, even though they do throw in their couple of comments that you just kind of groan at. But at least they had I haven't finished watching it, so of course it could all go to get really bad. But I do like the Sontarans. I got to say, I love them as a race.
I love Sontarans, but I don't want to see them ruined in this crap. So
yeah.
Anyway, there you go. I'm sorry I didn't put you to sleep, but the show, as bad as it was, that whole run didn't put me to sleep. It pissed me off too much.
Yep.
But yeah, Doctor, and it's a shame to have something you love destroyed. But hey, we've all been there with almost pretty much everything, haven't we? Suddenly, it's finding one that hasn't been destroyed, and that's pretty much not possible.
Yeah, and when and I put that in perspective, I was up for 24 straight hours or more, and it didn't put me to sleep. So
that's because it needs this.
Yeah, I needed the Club Honey. Yeah.
Yep.
Just to erase those last few years of Doctor Who would be so good.
Yes.
And actually, with Doctor Who, it's one of the most easy. It's the easiest character to do it with, right? I mean, there's so many ways you could just write that out of existence, or just have come up with some timely-wimely thing to erase, the Jodie era, it could be done. So, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
That's
Timey-wimey.
Yeah, buddy. Well, and by the way, my new video came out today. I got the backup one tomorrow. So, Clobby'S spinner rack time machine came out today, folks. And tomorrow, I think around midday, if I remember when I scheduled it, the wrap-up video. So we're heading in down the highway on the spinner rack time machine, going back in time and buying real comics.
Some great comics on that video. God.
Oh, you saw that? Thanks, man.
Yeah, so some. Yeah.
It was a pretty good week. What do you see when it starts next week out?
Some good stuff. Yep.
And you mentioned, it's funny. You mentioned, of course, that today is Veterans Day, and which kind of fell into place with the first comic I did. That was, a DC war comic. So there you go.
Hey, Sherry.
Yep.
Captain Sherry just walked through the door.
Sherry. I was going to sing the song, but I didn't. There's a song there, and I didn't sing it. Lucky you all. Hello, Sherry. Thank you for popping in. It's great to see you. But yeah. So, what did you say? You had something to show us for?
Yeah.
In relation to Veterans
Day. Yep. So, of course, thank you to all the veterans out there in the history. Of course, of Veterans Day. It was originally called Armistice Day. It was signed at the end of World War I. So the 11th hour of the 11th month of the 11th day. So, 11/11 at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. 1918.
We have a bot again.
Yeah.
Somebody mute that bot for me, please. Oh, Jill got it. Thank you.
Jill got it. Jill was quick. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jill. Love you, Jill. Thank you. And it's happened last night too. Go ahead.
Yeah, the bots are out. Yeah, jerks. God. But just get a life, as William Shatner would say.
So you can still you can still see it on this side even when they nuke it.
Yeah, because I guess we're in the if you're a wrench, I think you can see it. So I think that just because you can actually go and see what was happening. Yep. And like anyone would actually click on one of those links. I mean, God forbid. I mean, your computers. How many viruses do you want to get?
I just clicked on it. There's nothing there. I'm just kidding. I can't because I don't have the.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. But yeah, so getting back to Veterans Day. So I'm a big fan of General Patton and the movie Patton, and then from that I always read a ton of books on Patton and did a lot of research on his life, and so it's kind of like one of those side obsessions you get with a character. And of course, when everyone he's famous for the movie, but there's a lot more to a person in history than by just watching a movie. So I always recommend if it's something you're interested in going to read books, and there's so much stuff on the internet now too. There's YouTube videos and a lot of things that you can find. So Francis Ford Coppola wrote the script, and the movie Patton is just a brilliant movie. So usually on Veterans Day I watch that.
Love it.
It was something I would watch with my dad every year because he was a huge fan of the movie. And that that opening scene, actually Scott didn't want to film it. He thought it was crazy, and they said, "Oh well, we're just going to put it at the end of the movie, and maybe we won't use it." Yeah, so they kind of tricked him. Yeah, but it's such an iconic,
such a great scene,
an iconic scene. So I'll show. This is I tried to dust him. He's in my basement. I actually should have him, up. I got to find a spot up on the first floor for him. Let's see if I get my camera on. So it's actually a special edition. It's actually the GI Joe line that came out. Let's see if this is gonna work here. Let's see. Hopefully this camera. There we go. Okay. So this is a deluxe. I found the box in the basement. It's a GI Joe, like I said, camera line. Figure line. And I think they did Eisenhower. Maybe they did Bradley, a couple other generals. They probably did Montgomery too. Maybe they did some Brits. So this is just, it's an old figure. So this is, it's not a Hot Toys level quality, but it's pretty damn good. So of course you've got Patton and all his gear. You've got the Willie, who is the dog that's the coward. You've got the Third Army patch here. So this got a nice stand here. I didn't set up my mic so I could put it under the desk.
Gotcha.
And it might lose me for a second. But
Gotcha.
He's got his binoculars, and let's see here if
I remember when Patton was made the Herald of Galactus.
yeah. But you've got your pearl-handled revolvers there, and binoculars. So it's pretty good detail on the figure. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
We've got his.
Excellent.
So actually, everyone thinks that George C. Scott is Patton now, which is funny.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a nice. So it's
like
got
the
him.
real deal right here.
Yeah, it's got him. They have him decked out as a 3-star general. Of course, he got his 4-star just before the war ended. And there's a helmet. Where'd the helmet go? They give you the 4-star helmet, so you can, he said, as Bradley says, "Oh, your age. I'm sure, George, your age could reach into a haversack and grab any rank that was needed." So I had this when I had my office downstairs.
I had the vinyl of the soundtrack for years. I don't know.
Yeah. So then the Jerry Goldsmith is just so
amazing.
Brilliant. So yeah. So
that's a great soundtrack, dude.
It's an amazing soundtrack. So let's see if I can do this safely. So what's nice is you can go to Michael's and buy these cheap frames if you want to hang up your albums. So this is an original album. You can hang it on the wall. Yep. Oh, excuse me. Yep. Oh, Cal, that's the Sentinel build a figure, not the HasLab gazillion-dollar one. The legs don't work. The knees don't work. Yep. So, of course, the only problem with this is you can't see the back of the album. All the track information and things. But that's I love getting those old the old vinyl piece. Put them on the wall, hang them up. Makes a nice display.
You should put the back on your scanner. and you should scan the image of the back of the album and then reduce it in size and put it in the left-hand corner at the bottom.
That's a great idea. Yep. No, that's a good idea to do. Yep.
Steve said, yes, his house is like it's dimensionally transcendental.
It's bigger on the inside. Yep.
He's digging a tunnel, Steve Mitchum. He has like his tunnels.
So Phantom caught my joke. All right. Yeah. Only a pimp from a New Orleans whorehouse would have pearl handles. He had ivory. Yep. I was waiting to see if someone caught that. Yep. Plus, I've had no sleep in the last 2 days. So. But,
it was because he was in his basement digging out catacombs for his extensive collection of many, many nerdy and geeky things.
Yep. So I guess would this classify as more nerdy?
Yes. And yeah, we're going to have to get you a show called Catacomb Digging. and you'll find me buried. I'll make
in the
the intro extra for that one for you.
With poor Mrs. D, yeah. The house I assure you folks is not that big. It's just pretty much crammed and everything's organized in bins. So at least I've got a lot of stuff, but I have a lot of labeled bins, so they're not just thrown everywhere. But well, the other interesting thing I wanted to add about Patton too was his voice was kind of nasally and high, and he hated his voice. So when you listen to that record, and you can actually find now with YouTube and videos, you can listen to videos with speeches, and actually he's a lot dirtier in the movie. He's toned down, so when he says fornicating, he's not saying fornicating. So he really uses salty language, but only for effect at the right time. So, but and that speech is an amalgam of many different speeches all in the movie, all put together. But be like you're having a greatest hits of all your best sayings. So what was interesting about his character, though, his on his grandfather's side was one of the basically founders of California, or one of the in L.A., and he came from huge money on Patton's on his mom's side. So he had horses and cavalry, and basically when you're in the army, in the 20s, you weren't getting paid much. So he was it was a different time, but he was just extremely wealthy. So he had horses and all boats and things. So, but it was always his passion to fight in a war. And he actually, in Young Indiana Jones, actually Patton is in one of the episodes.
That's right.
Going after Pancho Villa.
Pancho Villa episode.
Yep. And he called it. Patton was always good at tooting his own horn. So he said he was the first mechanized infantry assault using a car. I think it was a novel item to have a car back then. And then it's so he said that's when he would say it's the first mechanized assault. And so he always...
Poopus is leaving. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay.
He may have to step away quite quickly. So I just want to say good night, Snorty. I'm throwing a couple of Arctic char your way and some chin scritchies. Have a good sleep. Don't bump your snoot.
Take care, Snorty Poopus.
Right. Yeah, Snorty.
I hope the bear sleeps well. But so you can catch, in pop culture, you could see, Patton's in that episode. They also did a movie, The Last Days of Patton, years later, which wasn't as good, but it still has George C. Scott in it. And of course, he's in a car accident and gets paralyzed. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories. I don't think any of them are true, but I had someone in the army who told me that, there was an assassination attempt. Who the heck knows? But he was sitting on the edge of his seat and he hit his head. So if you're going to try to take someone out, it doesn't seem like everyone else in the car survived. So it doesn't seem like a likely way you would you would go after someone. But so they had that. There's that movie, and then also I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. It wasn't George C. Scott, but it was about a theft of gold during World War II. Clobberin times, you have a better memory than me, but he also appears in that movie. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Which movie?
It was a movie it was a gold heist during World War II. Some soldiers were trying to steal gold from what they'd found from the Yahtzees.
Not Kelly's Heroes.
It might have been Kelly's Heroes, but he's very as a character that's pop culture and George C. Scott's portrayal is just so it's just so amazing. It's one of the best best portrayals, and he refused the Academy Award for it too.
He did.
He wouldn't accept it because he said it was too.
That's right.
It was too political. So that was interesting. And he actually lived kind of near me too. So I had friends who would run into him. Of course, I never got to see anyone, but it's your friends always bump into all the famous people, but I never do. But yeah, so apparently he was a pretty nice guy when you ran into him.
Nice.
But
Nice.
yeah, so Oliver's saying, yeah, I still don't know if Patton's death was accident or murder, but recall Patton always wanted to fight Field Marshal. Yeah, Irwin Marshall. Yeah, they said let's just have a duel to settle World War II. Yeah, just me and you and the pistol. And the other thing, he was in the Olympics too. Hopefully, I'm not babbling too much, but
no, go for it. Man.
All this stuff. But he was in the Olympics, and he was in the pentathlon. So there was events where one of the events was shooting, and he was an incredibly good shot, and he would have medaled in these Olympics, but he totally missed the target. But he said his bullet went through another bullet hole. So the Patton fans or people said that, well, there's really no way the guy could miss the target. He was such a good shot. So they think with modern tech, they would have been able to detect it. So so he was a physical guy, and then he was always worried about getting the bullet for his nose. So that's all in his memoirs. You need to read this, read the books, or if you read The Last Days of Patton, that the movie is based on. It's and Patton, Ordeal and Triumph are the two books. Those are really good books to read if you want to know more about his life and history. But it's a really fascinating history. And you're a big football fan, right? So he made up he started football in the Army. He was one of the originators of having football in the Army, and then he made tanker uniforms for the tank command that looked like these crazy outfits. So that's in the movie too. But there's a lot of stuff that's true. That's really interesting. So he's a larger than life character. And then what I like about him, he got in trouble. He was for not being politically correct when he's talking about we're gonna have to fight the goddamn Russians someday, which he was correct about.
He wanted to invade Russia then. He wanted to invade it.
Yeah, which probably wouldn't have been a good idea. But
I love the scene in the movie though when he wouldn't drink with the Russian. The guy they were at the party he was forced to go to. He said, no, you could tell him that I will not drink with him or any other Russian son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And he you tell him that. You tell him just that.
Yeah.
And he told him, and the guy he says, you are a son of a bitch too. And then Patton started laughing. Okay, I'll drink to that.
One son of a bitch to another.
One son of a bitch to another. He deserved the Academy Award for that. He was that year was 1970, and there were two great, almost masterpieces of movies, both involving the military, but incredibly different. Patton and MASH.
Yep.
And both were great films. Patton won it, but both were nominated, and I love both of them. For different reasons.
Yeah, well, plus they're set against the backdrop of the Vietnam War too in 1970. So, a lot of people consider Patton,
in Korea, but during a war. So
but just during in terms of consciousness of the people, and some people think Patton's an anti-war movie. Some people think it's pro-war. Like, well, you can decide, but it's he never glorifies combat. And he always respects the.
He
the
himself
soldiers.
was a warmonger, but he was also he was just brilliant though, wasn't he?
Yep. So it's
I love that scene in the film when they come across the soldiers after they've been in a battle for they run out of ammo, and they're all shot up, they're all dying or whatever. They had to go hand to hand, and they were there for the whole night they've been fighting. When he came across that soldier that was dying on the field, that's one of the great scenes.
Yeah, because there's a humanity to him too. He's he's gung ho, like you said. Don't want to hold ground that we took twice, but and he did get some criticism for trying to rescue his son-in-law. They think he sent that mission went awry, but
Jack Kirby was in one of his division.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yep. So they're both hard-nosed guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can only imagine Pat in the army today. What would I be? He'd be out so fast. Oh,
Yeah.
and he made it through West Point, and he had dyslexia too. They diagnosed years later, but he had really so he was actually read to as a kid. He couldn't read, and he did. I think he had to repeat a year at West Point, or he had a lot of troubles at West Point. But he was able to overcome that disability too. And back then people weren't very understanding too. If you said you can't read, what's wrong with you? I won't use the word you can't use anymore, but you'd say what are you, stupid? Or it wasn't a lot of sympathy, or people didn't understand what was that people had these disabilities or difficulty reading. So it's so he did overcome that as well. So it's quite a character. And just to think about Veterans Day, and all just the the regular soldiers and everyone who maybe it doesn't have a movie, but they help keep us free and safe. And it's a day to remember, because we have a volunteer army now too, and a lot of these vets volunteered for World War II, Vietnam, or the Gulf Wars. And they didn't have to do it, and they did it so that we could stay as a country and protect our country, and hopefully have free speech. Kind of that's depressing on that front right now, but
Right.
but
Right.
people have made some great sacrifices, so
That's for
it's
sure,
a
dude.
good day to
Thank
remember
you
them.
all.
Yep.
Remembrance indeed. Thank you all you veterans out there.
Yep. And while I have my camera on, even though this is switching gears, because I probably won't make it through the whole show. I don't know if I showed this to Raquel. If I don't know if
Dude,
Raquel is.
if you're not feeling well, oh yeah.
No,
yeah,
I feel okay, but I'm just
I know you're tired.
yeah, tired. Yep. But this
Ah,
peps me up. But
she looks beautiful. She's absolutely beautiful.
Let
I
her
do have
out.
some concerns for Spidey though. Like he looks like he needs some vitamin D. What's going on there?
Well, because it's wintertime now, so we don't have as much sun. So
Oh, you got to
I
get
gotta
that
some-
boy
I gotta get
some vitamin D. Come on
Got to
now.
get him some more light going in here. Yeah, let's get the. Here, let's put the light on for. Oh, there we go. I forgot.
Yes.
Of course, I forgot to turn the light on. Yep.
Poor thing. Now put T'Pol back on the screen, please.
Yeah.
An evening with
pretty light.
Mark D with the C would not be complete unless we had Restless Legs Syndrome Spider-Man and T'Pol action figures.
Yeah,
She's
right?
gorgeous.
Let her out.
Yeah, let her out.
I'll have to free her. Yep. I'll have to get my my X-Acto knife so I could free her carefully. So
Well, just be careful because those
Yeah.
those packages are dangerous. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, we were
So
talking about this the other night. I wish I'd have gotten Shran, and it's really dumb. Some of the way they marketed this line was really ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't even aware they even had this line. So
And the decisions they made. Oh, really? Well,
yeah,
I bought everything they had almost.
yeah, I don't think that this was ever available in Canada, and I haven't seen it at the con. Can you turn that back over again, please?
Sure. Yeah.
How is that? What is that in price? $10?
It was $10. And what's
Was.
the store? Let's see.
Wow,
Doesn't see the store there.
that's cheap.
And
This
actually,
was 2002.
it
Wow.
only cost. She only cost me $15. So it was one. I bid on eBay for $1, and it was $15 shipping. So that's what I'll do
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
times with figures. I'll just bid like $1, below, and if you hit it, you hit it. If not, then you don't
Are
get
the
it.
phaser and the communicator still available?
I still
Let's
have
see.
mine.
See here's the. I guess she's got a different hand there. I'm trying to see what. And then there's the phaser.
My
So they
communicator
don't have
still
a
makes
full
noise.
size phaser? Is
Oh,
that-
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. They did. Yep, they did sell full size phaser and communicator.
Still have
yeah.
mine and the communicator. They're set. They come in a set together.
Really? And how much do those cost?
Hmm.
And who makes this? Who's making this?
This was Art
This
Asylum.
was Art Asylum. Yep. They
Wow.
did a nice
They're not
job.
around
Yep.
anymore, I don't think.
No.
But they actually used one of the phasers on the show in some of the
Oh, no way.
episodes, the toy phasers. Yeah, because they said they did such a nice job, and they weren't hero props that were used close up, but they needed a bunch more phasers. They said let's
So
just save money and use the toy.
So is that a toy or is it prop replica?
It's
Toy.
a toy, but
Oh,
it was
wow.
so nice that, and I never bought any of the Enterprise stuff. when I which I should have. I did buy the ship, of course. I have two of the ships, and I don't think I have any of the phasers and
Phantom
communicators.
Outsider,
But they're pretty
feels
nice, right, Clobby?
disappointed. He would really have preferred if you would have bought the decontamination to Paul.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah. So say we all. And Kyle's saying how many points of articulation. I don't think there's that many. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think it's a very flexible
Not really.
feature, if I want to say this the right way.
It's not. Yeah, it's not NECA, but their toys were kind of breakable too. My
Yeah.
Archer has a broken leg.
Huh.
And a broken
You
bow.
broke
My
Archer's
broken bow.
leg?
I didn't break it. It just broke. But yeah,
Was he playing water polo?
it's broken arrow.
I'm
broken
blaming you. You broke it. Shame
Well, I
on
did take
you.
it out
I'm
of the
kidding.
box. But did we show? Have you seen? You haven't seen all these toys from this line?
No.
We showed them the other night. You should show her if you really want to get crazy. Show
We
her
showed him the other
the
night.
bridge.
What are you talking about? Where? When? Which show?
Didn't we show
On,
last week.
last week. Yeah, here I could share my screen and show some of the other ones.
The
But yeah, it's
bridge.
a nice.
You don't know about the bridge?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
my
Raquel.
goodness. Oh,
I'm
my
going to educate you. Here, let me find that again. So actually, it was a 3D print. You could so what they were doing, they were making figures sets
Right.
for the. So there's you've got the Archer, the command chair,
Yeah.
and you got the navigator. No, you don't have the navigator. That was the one thing that was missing was the navigator. So you had
No, the helm.
Hoshi.
The helm was
the helm.
Yeah, see, I've really collected. Well, I shouldn't say I've never really collected. I've never collected any type of Star Trek toys. I only collect the replica props. So yeah, I find it intriguing that they made toys and not replica props for the communicator and for the phaser. Because if I would have known that it was life size, I probably would have bought it, even though it was a toy.
They were pretty good.
How do you think it is, Mike? You think it's pretty good? Or,
They're good. They're real good.
Yeah, so when you guys cover Enterprise, and that was in one of the books I have on Enterprise, or reading about it, like they actually used the toy in some of the. I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's they were showing the scenes where they're on the planet with the shuttlecraft and they're all fighting and hitting. So let's see here, Star Trek.
Yeah, it's a shame that Diamond Select or Playmates or someone hasn't done the prop replicas. This show is so neglected. Ent is so neglected. It's actually sad.
What pisses me off is what he's talking about. They made the 3 pieces to the bridge and didn't make the 4th one. The jerks. I bought the 3. I bought the 3 of them.
Wow, what a dumb thing to do. Why did they release the last one?
They're jerks, I guess.
They didn't sell. They didn't sell.
Archer's chair. They all come on a platform. You ought to show them to her.
Yeah, well, we'll pull
they
those
did
up.
Trip's console. They did T'Pol's science station, and they were supposed to do. Did Archer's chair? That's what I'm saying. But they were supposed to do Travis. His helm. I guess, and they didn't. But he's Mark found pictures of a guy who 3D printed it and made it.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. So what they did with this line, which was eternally stupid, they had like an away team line first. So instead of having all the characters in their costumes, they came out with Archer and to get instead of doing these last, they came out with spacesuit versions of the characters.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
They had normal uniforms for everyone, but Trip and Hoshi. And Trip was a special when you had to order from Wizard. It was an exclusive. I remember ordering that back when it first came out.
Weird.
It was dumb. And the only Phlox is in a spacesuit, just like the only Hoshi is in a spacesuit. Why? Yeah. Idiots.
I'm trying to click on it on my computer. Come on, computer.
Hello, computer.
So we could blow this up. Let's see what's not. Yeah. So and Hoshi too. You only had Hoshi in the away team uniform or spacesuit, I should say. So you did get Shran, and you got a Nausicaan.
I wish I'd have got Shran. I never found him.
And you got T'Pol, but you had all these characters in the first wave in this away team. And then you had, let me see, maybe this might be blocking it. Let's see. Sometimes that blocks it. And then they came out the second wave. Oh, come on, computer. What's going on here? Check your connection. Let's see. Let's see if I can go somewhere else. Let's see.
The Comic Relief Crusader. Hello, hello, hello. Oliver Belmonte. Hello there.
Let's see if we can get another website. Let's see.
Oliver,
While you're looking that up, Oliver says, Ms. Raquel or Mrs. Raquel, on your time on Star Trek, what was the most favorite prop you wanted to get? I'm hardcore replica props. To be honest with you, I was pretty stoked on getting the tricorder and the non-medical tricorder, the science tricorder. They're very expensive and hard to bring into Canada, so I kept putting it off. I almost bought a couple from a local collector, but they were not in good shape. So it was really a long time running for me to get that TOS tricorder. I always wanted the Diamond Select Communicator. I ordered it several times from the United States, but either they would get a hold of me and say that they didn't have one, or someone would steal it in transit. That actually happened to me, and then so they gave me a refund. So they're quite expensive. They're difficult to get up here, but I would love an original Delta. I would just absolutely love to have Science Division original Delta with that gold flecked material sewn into the emblem, because I would just love to have it, and I would cherish it and take extremely good care of it, and I would put it on all of my cosplay. As I transferred cosplay and improved my cosplay, I would definitely be moving that Delta badge around, because it's just absolutely gorgeous. And PJ from Orville Nation just stepped through the door.
PJ and Deception. Hey.
Yeah.
Sean, what's up, buddy?
PJ, I love you so much. You folks at home, I just found out that PJ has started his own merch line. And many of you know that I used to be on Orville Nation on Power Women Wednesdays. And PJ is sending me the most wonderful Orville Nation bikini. And he's sending it to me as a gift. And isn't that sweet? So I just put the link up in the chat. You have to go and see this beautiful bikini. He has a merch line. And I just wanted to give a shout out to PJ and just say, PJ, I love you. I loved working with you. I loved Power Women Wednesdays. And you're just a sweetheart of a human. And I will wear that bikini proudly on a beach. And I will definitely get some photos for you, and I appreciate that so much. That is such a generous and wonderful gift, and I will wear it proudly. So, long live Orville Nation! Please follow PJ and Orville Nation.
There's a link right there. Please, if you have not subscribed to Orville Nation, please do so. PJ's got a great channel. I love the Orville. It's a great show, and PJ is a great bloke. Please, if you have not, my friends, go follow his channel. I cannot wait for the Orville to return.
And way too long.
Hey, Keely Chow. Roll Tide.
An insincere roll tide to you.
Hey, Clobby, how come no one sends you or me a bikini?
Anyways?
What's that? Which one do I answer first? I didn't hear you, Mark.
I said, how come no one sends you or me a bikini?
I think I know why. Roll Tide means Keely is from close to downward in my neck of the woods, and of course he is a huge fan of the Alabama Crimson Tide, the college team that wins way too much, and Nick Saban is. But they're saying it's Roll Tide, and they do roll a lot, including my Tigers. They rolled my LSU Tigers this past weekend, and although they were favored by 28 points, they barely got away by winning by a 6-pointer by 4 points or something, right, dude? Or 6 points. So, hey, you guys should have beat us way worse than that. But Roll Tide to you, my friend. We're always great to see
you. Very nice.
The Alabama Crimson Tide is the name of the
Crimson Tide. Yes,
and
yet for some reason their mascot is an elephant.
Yep. It's not a Republican. It's
What?
it's Al the elephant.
But
Yeah,
the Crimson Tide.
Grandma was like, why is your like my brother-in-law went to Alabama, so they're like, why is your mascot a Republican elephant? It's like, no, it's Al the elephant. It's nothing to do with politics.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with politics. But see this here, this makes me sick because if you saw
how gorgeous that is.
See the other pieces, Raquel. This was made by a 3D printer. The other ones I bought all three, expecting a fourth one. And it was all I had. Again, it's got the platform. See, it's got the little hook that you hook them all together. Now they didn't do Hoshi's station for some reason, but still,
but you have nowhere to drive the ship. Then, you got to have a steering wheel, right?
Right. Oh, makes me so mad.
Wow, that's annoying. Can we move through the pictures, please? Oh yeah, great.
Yep. So here's the whole set. So this is Mike was saying. So he was supposed to fit right in front of Archer. So then you've got the whole diorama there.
Oh wow,
which is really nice. And I guess if it had done really well, maybe they would have added some more stations too.
Don't make him at all if you're just going to not make the whole damn thing.
So Mayweather was the fourth, Clobby?
It was going to be the fourth piece, and I waited and waited. Everyone waited. I bought these when they first came out. Each piece, still have them, and no, but this guy made that one. Nice. It's amazing. And it's just as good as the others.
And they make sounds too. These pieces,
they make sounds. Archer's got a little button on the floor right where he is there. When you press it, he goes, how are we doing, Trip? Ready when you are. Let's go.
How much does it cost to get the fourth piece printed and purchased from this person? Is Dr. Merkin posting a price?
There's no price, but it's something I could print. But what he did that's a really nice job is he did this gorgeous paint job. And I'm assuming he did stickers with this.
No, it is a different color, though. You notice that?
Yeah.
Is that like the bridge in the show? I'd have to check again. But let's see Hoshi. It's so dumb. There's only Hoshi comes in the stupid spacesuit.
Yeah.
How would you do that?
Why does T'Pol look pregnant?
Because of the way she's sitting.
Weird.
That's the figure I have right there. Let me check her out.
I never saw Shran.
Never ask if a woman is pregnant. Safety tip for the audience.
Right. Yeah. Right. I never saw Clang or Shran anywhere when I went to the Toys R Us back then.
Well, these figures didn't sell that well, so that's why they. There
was only one buying them.
So this is the
Archer though, because his leg's broken. Go ahead, sorry.
No, sorry. Yep. So this is if it's printed, it's going to be the color that you 3D printed, so it's going to come out like this. This is the end product. But look how many pieces go into this. So they're not big pieces, but there's a lot of stuff you've got to print. So each of these that I'm showing are pieces you have to print separately to construct this set. So the designer did a beautiful job of figuring this all out and designing it. So you've got all those pieces and the floor piece, separate floor pieces, and then you've got the console, coming up here, different pieces of the console, and when you go back, you recognize what you're seeing. And then he's got so there's a ton of pieces you got to print here.
Yeah, it looks like a major undertaking.
Yeah, and then the smaller pieces are actually much like these type pieces are much more difficult to print versus something that's flat like this. In terms of having it come out correctly, like this is not too bad of a piece to print.
Yeah.
But then you've got to sand it if you want it to look nice, and he obviously did decals. So I don't know if he posted the decals here. And look at all these little pieces. So as you're going through, these are all the Nightmare.
That'd be a nice gift for Clobby for Christmas.
Yeah. Nah, I don't need such a thing.
Well, eventually
I'm gonna
print one.
These.
He's not selling them. No, he just says they're giving them away for free. I don't know if there's anyone that does print these for sale.
You can't sell them. I mean, you can't advertise it anyway. James D. Skywalker, Captain, what's up,
stuff
dude?
Like that. I mean, because people sell stuff like that, on Etsy all the time.
They do.
You can't sell that, you get in trouble.
They also sell it at MakerBot Thingiverse because I was gonna commission Mark to do Uhura's earpiece.
Yep.
And I wanted him to do like Uhura's actual, the replica prop of it. So it looks a little bit different than the one that they eventually get for Wrath of Khan. And someone was selling them and also had created the Creative Commons you can take this and make it yourself things. So,
Yeah.
but then when Mark looked at it, Mark was like, well, yeah, like I could make this for you, and this person is offering a fair price. But if you ever want me to make it for you, yeah, it'd be cool. And I was thinking, yeah, I would love to get Mark to make it, just because, first of all, I'd like to increase his portfolio for things that he's making. And second of all, because he's my friend, and it'd be cool for him to say that he had made one. So it's just weird, because why wouldn't this person just sell some?
Well, I mean, it's just the effort of printing these and get them to come out right. Like printing the Doomsday Machine is not as detailed. You're printing one big thing.
Yeah.
Of course, the print could crash on you, and I still I've been working on getting my printer up and running again. I've been so busy lately, but my printer crashed, and I had to rebuild the nozzle. And nothing major, but there's a lot of fine tuning, and it's it's not like putting the pod in your coffee machine these days or having a replicator, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's it's a really fun hobby. So I guess he does. He says decals for the fan covers are provided.
Yeah.
Doesn't have so he did provide decals. So what you can do here, you can download. You can download the files. I guess I didn't open it up, but eventually I'll print. And of course, whenever you do something like this, you would always print more than one anyway. So I would always print.
Of course, yeah.
Make 2 or 3 or something, and then or sometimes you do that anyway, just because the if a part doesn't come out or you have an extra, if you're putting something together, if you break it or something. But
so does he have photos of the decals? Because that would significantly change the burden of painting. So I'd love to see the decals.
You can open up the file here that I downloaded. Let me see.
Yeah, let's do that.
See if they had the decals in here. Let's see, documents.
I'd love to get this for Clobby. This would be great. This is a great gift for Christmas for him. Please don't listen to him. Is there anybody who can just mute my captain right now?
Yeah, he never wants anything.
Mute me.
He's the best. He's the best friend. He never wants anything, right? Which is great.
He has no need of anything.
I have this already. I have Travis.
You have the Travis?
I have Travis.
Yeah, the figure. You don't have the
but you don't have Travis's station.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Yeah,
it's cloaked. Nobody does it. This guy. This is the only guy in the world that has it.
Mark, you and I, we're going to have a little chitty chat about this.
Yeah. Let's see. Details. Let's see.
At least finish it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then Clobby's got it finished.
I'm not saying bits and pieces. I'm not saying the stickers, but.
Could you please scroll down on the main screen here where it's MakerBot Thingiverse? Just scroll down just slightly, please, because there was a little decals for the fan covers are provided in case your printer, like mine, doesn't quite have the resolution to print them as part of the bits and pieces file. Great. If you come up with a mixing ratio for a better floor color, there's Clobby's spider sense is tingling.
Yep.
Please post it. Other than that, enjoy. So I wonder what year your monitor is, Mark. But yeah, it'd be interesting if you wanted to go through those grays. A lot of people think that Comtech or communications is just like people who write speeches and stuff like that. But I'm Comtech, so if you want to look at some hexadecimals and start putting them together on a wheel and pinning down that color, I'd be more than happy to help you work through that. And,
you find out the right color. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Trying to see if anyone had. Let's see. There's no makes remixes. So I'm not seeing the. Here's the files that are in there.
Lovely.
Normally they would list like decal file or something.
They would, yeah.
Oh, here. Oh, decals.
There it is.
Right
there
here.
it is.
Yeah,
PDF.
Decals. Yep. Here you go. Gorgeous. All right. So I missed that one. I didn't download that.
Honey, there'll be no painting. Well, just no painting to the degree that we thought.
Yeah.
Look at this.
This guy did an amazing job. God bless him. Yeah.
Can you splat plus or just move?
Let me
dial
zoom
up
in,
to 300 if you don't mind.
Yep. There we go.
Wow. Pretty nice.
Dial up to 300. Yes, please. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Nice. Very good.
Look at this.
Yeah, so
Look
you
at
can print
the
these.
DPI on this. This is great.
So so you can print this on decal paper and then just cut it out. And I bought some paper it comes laminated that you can print on now. So you could do something like this, and God, I mean, God bless this guy for doing this work. Look how nice that
Beautiful.
is. Oh, I guess he did 2. Looks like there's 2 sets on. Yeah, that makes sense. He just
Yeah, makes
doubled
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Doubled it up, and those are the fan covers. Yeah, like you're saying, you can't.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to print those. Those were those fan covers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's odd grayscale. All right, Mark, we gotta get together.
here we
and we gotta
go.
do this.
yeah, look. Oh, so
he's
he's got the console color here. So he's telling you what the model master. This is the paint number when you're doing your spray gun.
So can you move to the right, please? Let's look at what he's doing. Oh no, honey.
That's
Yeah,
too much
move to
work.
the right and go back to the gray. Oh, the gunmetal. Yeah.
Yeah.
FS 35164. I'll start looking.
It's not like I have a place to put it anyway. It's all just piled in a box right now. There's no room for it anyway, so it's not a problem. I would know where to put it if I had it. To be honest,
Do you have one of those monitor
not even
shelves?
kidding. I have nothing. There's no space for it.
No, you got it. We'll get you one of those monitor shelves. I just bought a bunch of those where you
Wouldn't know where to put that either.
You put it on top of your monitor, and it hooks
There's
to
no
your
room on that either.
computer. You have stuff on your computer?
That's stuff everywhere, dude.
He'll
No,
find it. He will seriously find a
I'm the
way to
expert
be the
at
most
finding
humble
stuff,
man in the
finding
room.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to tune him out. Like
can't
he's
buy
in
any-
charge
Yeah.
here, but we
Just
have to tune
pretend
him
he's
out.
not there.
I can't get any comics or mags or books, anything, because there's nowhere to put anything. DVDs, you name it. I just don't even bother anymore because there's no space for it.
It's beautiful.
I live under an overpass, everyone. So for those who don't know, I actually am doing this show from under an overpass, but it's a nice overpass.
Down by the river?
You hear that? Like,
Don't listen to him. It's just that he's humble. He doesn't like being complimented. He does not accept compliments. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, he is wonderfully humble. He has impeccable manners. He's a total gentleman in every single sense of the word. And so just don't listen to him, folks.
don't listen to her. Don't listen to her, folks. I'm the captain here. I'm Gap Stargate. Hello there. I've not seen you pop in before, but there you go. Am I saying that right, or should I say GAP Stargate? I don't know. Is that like a special? Do you know Gap Stargate, Raquel?
I do not know. I just know
Orville
Stargate
does.
Sg1. I love Stargate Sg1. It's my favorite, but I don't like any of the other Stargates.
PJ
They're
knows.
hard pass for me. PJ,
Gotcha.
tell us, is it GAP or GAP?
Gap. I think it's Gap. See, he says it. Gap.
Yeah, exactly. He would
Well,
throw
good
in
to see
extra
you.
A's.
Good to see you, Gap. Art Asylum down. Look, the price is nothing on these anymore. There's still. Oh, I watched Shran be expensive because I wanted them. Where's Shran?
You don't have
There's one
Shran?
around $20.
No,
yeah,
you couldn't
let's say.
find him anywhere back then.
Well, that's nice.
Like I said, you
Gold
couldn't
Ducat
get
and
Trip.
Cisco.
Trip only came in the away thingy. And there's a Suleiman.
Now I'm going to be looking for these
18.
everywhere I go.
Whoa, look at the Kirk mirror Kirk. Nice. I have that.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
I think I
Yeah,
have that one. I don't know. He looks kind of dark. But the outfit looks dark.
could be the lighting
Cal
on
and
the
Mark,
picture.
I offered Clobby a Thing Sky Cycle. It's still in the car in its box. I just need to know where to send it. Well, you could send it to Mark's business, and we'll take care of it from there.
Yeah.
No, it's Phantom, you're too kind, man. I just forgot about that. I'll send you the name of my overpass. Oh God, there's Dad Man walking up there.
Hell, Dad, man.
Batman's here?
No, he's up there in that picture that he's looking at.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, they had the damn doll there.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Let's see. Let's do Art Asylum. Let's do Broken
Enterprise
Bow.
Art Asylum. If you just because Trip was only available. The one that really gets me is also Hoshi and Phlox. Why would you just only have them in the stupid spacesuit? Why?
I don't know. It's weird.
It's just dumb. I mean, they don't even know what they're doing.
Well, plus you don't do that as your first line too. They were wondering why the line doesn't sell. It's like you want the figures as they appear on the show first, and then
Yeah.
if they're really popular,
Right.
like
Yes.
oh
There you
god,
go. Look, there's
why didn't I
the-
buy that when it was
there's the
$10 in the store?
Holy crap! That's $100. Don't mind it.
Holy,
If it makes you feel any better, mine's out of the box now, so it's not worth that. But
holy poop.
look at that. It's pretty nice, huh? I still got. Oh, I've been feeling like putting mine back together, but it's missing the pieces, Yada yada. But still, it looks pretty cool.
Honey, you're putting that together by the new year.
You think?
Yes.
From what I actually sort of know where it is.
Yeah,
Kinda.
well, Mark and I, we're gonna hook you up, baby. We're gonna make this
Yep.
happen for you.
Nah,
Let's
don't worry about
complete this
No.
gorgeous set
Don't worry
for
about it.
Clobby.
No problem.
Yeah, so there's the speaker there. You push the button and it speaks.
Yep.
Great.
And in my comic book shop, the guy had some of
It's
these.
It's
He
cheaper.
had some of these figures for years, and I never bought them. They were like $5, $10, because I wasn't in Enterprise back then.
Mm.
And then on the rewatch, I really,
What?
liked
You
a
weren't
lot
into
more.
Enterprise back then?
I watched them, but then I
You and I-
stopped watching.
You and I were
then-
the only ones.
Okay, well, look, Mark D with the C.
I'm
Look,
being
I
truthful,
love
I'm
you.
not-
I love
I'm-
your family. I think you are a very nice man. But
But you're
I
a
am
bad person.
sending you a swift kick it to the shin in my slippers all the way from Alberta.
Retroactive.
That's it.
But I did like this fourth season a lot more. And when Ronald D. Moore got more involved, then I was like, "Oh, you can't cancel it now." I was watching him, but I wasn't watching him. I actually missed a few episodes. For me, that's unusual for a Star Trek series. So,
Shame.
plus,
But you
I just
watched
met
some
the
of the
I just met the
filth.
missus. I just met the missus.
Shame on
If
you.
I'm remembering the
Not
time,
when Enterprise was on. You were way married before that.
Yeah, you were way married before then, honey.
When did Enterprise come out?
2001.
Yeah.
Oh, I was. Oh, well, I was busy with kids. Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
you
trying
were.
to find an excuse.
You were.
Shame
nobody-
Help me out here.
Nobody
Look,
liked it,
just
but I
accept
wanna
the
keep
shin
getting
kick,
kicked in the
okay?
shin,
You
yep.
just accept
Just
the
accept
shin
it.
kick. You have to accept the shin kick.
Take
And
it.
Phantom Outsider says,
Take it on the
Clobby,
chin.
you're going to put the set around the base of the Christmas tree this year.
I don't have a Christmas tree. Never do.
See, Phantom, he'll find a way. He will find
I
a
don't.
way.
You know what my Christmas tree is? I swear to God, I'm not making it up, Phantom. You know that little bitty twig thing that Charlie Brown has? I bought that at a drugstore years ago, so I would as my Christmas tree, and I'm not kidding. I put it up, and it's that. You know what I'm talking about? It's a
Clobby,
twig.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one
they're
that Charlie
selling them,
Brown
yeah.
has. I have that. I used to sell that, so that's my Christmas tree.
Oh, Clobby.
Well, would have room for a Christmas tree, but if I did, I wouldn't want one. Hell, I hate Christmas.
You have a big family, and
my
they
mom
love
has
you,
one.
and you love them. But
We go that far.
if it were not for them, I would make you come here for Christmas.
My mom has a Christmas tree. What do I need one for?
See, this is it.
It's two
Right?
guys. Myself and my son live here. No one needs a Christmas tree.
Have you seen all my Christmas ornaments?
Oh, you do have a bunch out.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, Trekkie
What?
Kim sent me two Christmas ornaments for my little Charlie Brown crib. Not even kidding. It's
Aw.
a Kirk,
Nice.
and it's a silver Enterprise.
Oh wow.
And they barely hang on it without breaking it. But and a Batman one, I think she sent me. So I have
Oh.
ornaments. I have ornaments on my.
I have a lot of Star Trek
Charlie
and
Brown.
Marvel ornaments. Yeah, and I actually picked up. I always go to Hallmark at the end of the season, so I picked up some of the mirror ornaments, and then they came out with some new ones this season, so they all talk to each other.
See,
I'm
I
not
love
the
only-
this stuff. I
not
think
the
this
only
stuff is
one.
great, but I've never collected it because I'm not a geek. I never collected the T-shirts either. I'm a
That's true.
nerd. I like the replica stuff, and that
Well-
that stuff gets me really, really passionate and very excited. Like I love the replica stuff.
I could put a word for you in at the Geek Commission and see if we can get you a license.
But this is nice. These were nice, well done sets. But the show, unfortunately, wasn't that popular. So then the toys don't sell. So, but God,
Yeah,
how
it wasn't.
much we'd wish we had a show like this now. I mean,
I just wish we'd have got 3 more seasons out of it. I'd be happy
Yeah.
at least 7 of them. Damn it.
Well, they still should bring them back.
Yeah, but now, oh good Lord, you know what they would do with them now, though.
yeah.
Now again, you can't find Trip, I bet you. But I mean, Trip in normal uniform because that's the one I had to get through Wizard. Remember?
Well, here it is. This. Oh no, that's Malcolm. Yeah,
That's
I've
Malcolm.
seen him before online.
And
but
it didn't
it's
come in a
tough.
box like that either. It came in a little tiny box. Was Wizard used to pull that crap? They would get these exclusives sometimes, like they did with the Astro City figures.
Let's see.
And I was so pissed off. I said, I want Trip in his damn uniform, not in a spacesuit. What was wrong with you people? It's like idiots. Beep, 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 beep. Captain Cockney, Mirror Spock, what's up, buddy? Thanks for hanging out with us today on the Global Geek Gang, Sal. But
Hell,
you
Captain.
can't find Archer with the bridge piece, huh?
Well, they did $60. Yep, they had.
Oh, did they?
Yep. I mean, it's kind of hit or miss. I'm trying to see if they had Trip, but Trip, you're right. Yeah, that was like a send away. What I'm guessing was they were coming out with a line, and they made some, and then they canceled canceled. Oh, look, you can buy just the bridge for $24.
Just a
That's
chair,
not bad,
you mean?
actually.
Captain's chair
Just
piece?
a chair. Yep.
No.
You
without
have that
archer?
piece though, right, Clobby?
Oh yeah.
Yep. We got that. Yep.
Without
I was
archer.
trying to find the
That's
trip.
weird. Oh, there's the archer one. No, that's not the archer one. Yeah, there's the
Yeah,
archer
that's
one with
Archer,
the bridge.
Yeah, well, Jill,
Yeah.
that's because you're a nerd. You're not a geek, right? Nerds are different than geeks. We're just slightly different. I mean, nerds are academic and bookish, and they like academic and bookish things and fine arts and things like that. Whereas geeks, they're pop culture fiends. They are like encyclopedias of pop culture, and they love to collect all of this stuff. I don't know where they find the time or the room for it. It's just absolutely fascinating stuff. And of course, as a communications and technology scholar, I am totally fascinated by the differences between the geek and the nerd culture. And I just love geeks. Geeks are, I can't believe the amount of money that they put into things and the things that they know about and all of these cultural artifacts that they create.
Especially if you do shipping high to low, and you'll see, because that figure's expensive when you finally do come across it. Let's see here.
Oh, PJ, you shouldn't have done that. Thanks, sweetheart. That's so incredibly kind of you. Oh, Clobby just stepped away from the microphone for 2 seconds. I'm just going to read this out, and then when Clobby gets back, he can put that up on the screen. But Orville Nation, PJ says, shameless plug for Gap Stargate, who just launched his YouTube channel. Everyone, please give him a sub. We grow together. Thank you. So, Gap Stargate. There it is. Thank you, Paige.
Yep, always love to support new YouTubers, and I love Stargate myself, so I'll have to check that out. Yep, that was a great show.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. No charge for a plug. We're glad to help anyone, but thank you so much for that. Generous super chat there. Orville Nation, PJ, we appreciate you, brother. And yes, if anyone can find that, if I can find Gap's link, I will get it in there. I'll take a look so I can find it in a second here. Thank you. But thank you so much, PJ. And absolutely best of luck there, Gap Stargate.
Yes. Good luck with your channel. Rock it, honey.
See if I can find a link on that while you guys are doing that there.
Yep.
Let's see. I just started watching Stargate for the first time, really, because as far as the episodes are concerned.
Yeah. Stargate Sg1 is amazing television. I was very worried after seeing the movie. I was very worried that the show was going to stink, but it's a delightful show. It made me laugh out loud. It made me squeal. It made me gush with hope, and just it's a very positive, beautiful show. I just love Sg1. But after that, I don't like any of it, and I definitely don't like the one with that Momo guy in it, the Jason Momoa guy that all the women call Momo. They're in love with him. Yep, that's a hard pass for me.
I only a couple episodes in, and by the way, just when I start, of course, Netflix is going to stop showing it at the end of the month.
They're gonna pull it as soon as you.
Here's a link, everyone. Please, if you could go and subscribe. Now, again, the first couple episodes I haven't liked it yet, but I'm going to give it time to hook me. Everyone says you got to wait a while, so we'll see. I didn't like that. Never was big on the movie. There's that link. Please go, everyone. Please subscribe to Gap Stargate's channel, please. And so far, I'm only about 2 or 3 episodes in, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to give.
You're watching the original, obviously. Yeah, you start the movie.
I'm going to give it the long haul. I've seen the movie. I saw it at the theater. And then I saw the first episode, normal episode, a few months back or whatever, and didn't go back to it. But I'm gone back now since then. I'm just a couple in there, so I'm going to hang with it because everyone says you got to hang with it. So yeah.
Yeah.
What was that question Jill had? What do you think of Stargate? Oh, she also loves SG1 and Atlantis. I'm too early to tell yet, Jill, but I'm going to give it every shot. Of course, I only have to the end of November to see it on Netflix, but maybe it's in some other places. Amazon used to have it, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's different. We get a different list up here for Netflix, and we also there are there's regional provisioning up here. So we get a different list for Amazon Prime, and we get a different list for Netflix. And yeah, it really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yep.
I think it's terrible
course.
that they're cutting off Stargate for you. I love Stargate. It's great.
Yeah.
Is it moving to another?
Jill said she hated
streamer?
Atlanta. She hated Atlanta at first, but now she likes it. I don't know. I think Amazon may still. I don't know if they have it or not. They did. So
Because sometimes what these things do, they'll
yep.
move around services. So like, didn't Warner Brothers have that for a while on their streaming? I think.
I don't know, but I didn't know it was
remember
on Netflix until the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never seen it pop up there, so I just assumed it wasn't even on there. Never looked for it on there, and it pops up. Oh, they must have just put this on there. I go on and it says last day to watch this is November the 30th.
What?
Great.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kel-El. PJ is good people, and that was really great for you to do that. Thanks, honey.
Yep. I just subbed as well. Gap Stargate.
Hey.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Clobby. Hey, so did Hungry Boy. Thanks, Hungry Boy.
There you go.
And I'll
Designer of the Cloboni.
Yeah, the Cloboni. You know, we all try to like PJ saying, we grow together. Absolutely. So we all help each other in this YouTube community.
Oh, Steve Mitchum has to go to sleep. Steve
All right,
Mitchum,
buddy.
love you. Go to sleep, honey. See you.
Good night, Steve
if Maddie's
Mitchum.
at home
Good night,
with
buddy.
you, give her a kiss from me, okay?
All right, Steve, brother. Be good, man. And it's 2 hours earlier there, and he's fading.
Wow.
Mark's been awake for like 5 days. He said, and he just wrote in the private chat that he could go another 5 more.
Yeah.
Just kidding, dude. When you're tired, you get out of here when you're tired. I haven't seen Clang either, by the way. I mean, you never saw him out there at Toys R Us.
Yeah, they must not have made that many Clangs. I'm not seeing the Trip Tucker in this checklist though.
Yeah, you're not gonna because they didn't sell him.
It was a special, but some of these checklists will show like listing.
I was talking to chatted a little bit back and forth a little bit with PJ the other night, I think somewhere, and PJ says he also likes Enterprise, and again, you and I've done a show, Raquel, defending Enterprise, so we gave it some love. I mean, Enterprise, you can criticize anything, and I even, like I say, I can even agree with some of the criticisms about it and still love it. We talked all about that, and I loved it. I'm one of those weirdos that loved it from the get-go, and I went in thinking I wasn't going to watch it.
Me too.
Yeah,
I loved it from the beginning, and I don't have any criticisms of it. I just well, I'm not going to say I don't have any. There are some things that annoy me, but there are some things that annoy me about TOS, given the corporate season 3, which was when the corporation was in control of TOS season 3. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, like it's so amazing. Like, just from the very beginning, I loved it. I loved the fact that they moved the technology backwards, but it didn't look silly. It didn't look like Jolly Ranchers, but it was still believable. I loved the whole thing. I thought the whole thing was just fabulous.
Well, I do actually. One thing it took getting used to. Again, we all love our buddy Doomcock. He hates it for the most part. Well, he's fair to it because he says there's some good ones, but he doesn't like the way it kind of stretches or defies canon in some ways, and I don't entirely disagree. He doesn't like the way it portrays Vulcans as complete a-holes, and it does. And that took me some getting used to. I don't like really the way they portrayed Vulcans, and yet you needed it for the drama too. They were sort of like, they're almost the Vulcans are almost like the Minbari, in a sense, because that was the thing that they made me think about. Because previously we had not been used to Vulcans acting like, shitheads, which I think they kind of did early on. But you can also make the case that whether that was true or not, Archer's conflict with them was really good drama point. That's why kind of the one things that makes T'Pol such an interesting character of addition to the crew.
Well, there had to have been some types of some type of intrapersonal conflict there, given the fact that you had one very evolved society that was trying to constantly searching for ways of suppressing their emotion and living a more and more and more disciplined life. And then they're being exposed to these creatures that have completely unregulated emotions for the most part. And so I actually enjoyed that aspect of it. And there are tender and beautiful moments with some of the Vulcans. I also think that I really love the fact that the story editor, the person in charge of the writing room for Enterprise, made sure that they understood canon. So we had some really good editing going on where we were explaining why the Klingons had forehead ridges and how that happened and how that evolved and stuff. And I like the fact that they were taking those loose ends, those unanswered questions, the sloppy bits that from those who came before, because there are a lot of writers who contribute to Star Trek, and trying to draw it all together and show how smart it was, how educated it was about Star Trek. So for that, I will always deeply respect and admire the writing on that show. And and it's one of the reasons why I love Enterprise so much. I want that kind of stuff. I want someone who's writing for a Star Trek show to go back, watch all of the Star Trek, all 735. Well, not 735 at that point. It would be significantly less because Ent is 98 episodes, but you know what I mean. And educate themselves on things that they can expand, and things that they can contract, and things that they can clean up, or things that they can riff off of. And so I really appreciated it. I thought it showed that some actual Star Trek fans were in charge of that show. And I loved it.
Well, yeah, all I'm saying is I do think there's some. I can understand kind of where DC's coming from when he says he hates the fact that the Vulcans were so far in advance of humans. He thought we should also be relatively so. And he has a point, because it's one thing for them to be maybe a little bit ahead of us, but they were way, way, way ahead of us. And but that wasn't Enterprise's fault. It was Berman with First Contact. The thing is, and I understand him not liking that, but the thing is, it didn't contradict anything, because it was never anything in stone, unless you know something I don't know, or if Roddenberry said something that said that it wouldn't go down that way. He never said, to my knowledge, and you might know because you know more about Roddenberry than any of us, he never said that that's First Contact went down or didn't go down the way that it did in that movie, one way or the other. So he ever even, I don't know if he ever even addressed First Contact with Vulcans or whatever. Did he?
Well, I need to clean up my knowledge on that, and
I don't think he did.
Sit back and have a think on it. Sometimes when I'm on air, I really can't recall facts very quickly, and that's also due to the fact that I'm extremely engrossed right now in a book written by Andy Weir called Project Hail Mary, and I've just finished a lovely book written by Stephen Hawking, and I've been so engrossed in them, and I don't want to spoil the book, but there are so many parallels that's where my mind's going. I'm thinking, oh, I can't give this spoiler away because this is a parallel. Wouldn't this be great to discuss? But I promise that when we get to the Enterprise, we will fully flesh that out, and we will make sure we provide all the answers.
Damn you, Andy Weir, for keeping me up at night.
Yes, he's definitely. So do you know that I'm actually at the point in the book where I have fewer than 200, maybe fewer than 175 pages left, and I'm trying to slow myself down because I don't want to finish it. I don't want it to be over. It's the first work of science fiction that I have read in a very, very long time, that where I feel like Gene Roddenberry would have read it, I feel like Carl Sagan would have read it, and I feel like Isaac Asimov would have read it. It is far and away much better than The Martian, and I thought The Martian was an outstanding.
God, I love The Martian. The Martian volume. I couldn't put down. Yeah, it was so. I mean, the movies.
Yeah,
I didn't like the movie. I think maybe we were talking about maybe the movie was okay if you didn't read the book, but that's and that's usually the case, I have to say too. But especially that book, they had to cut out so much stuff translated to the movie. You missed some missions and things he goes through, and the explanation too. It's
and the intimacy.
It's so good.
When you're in someone's head and you're seeing the world from their perspective, and you're experiencing shock, horror, trauma, when you're questioning, and your body and your mind are trying to process things, and walking through that with him changes that text a great deal. Hail Mary, I guess apparently because of what happened with the Martian, he's no longer working in his field. I
He
believe
doesn't
he's
need
some
to
sort
after
of,
that, right? Yeah.
yeah, I believe he's some sort of advanced software engineer. So it wasn't like he was living under the underpass with a coffee can asking for money, but
Yeah.
apparently he's retired from that and he's writing full time. And boy, does it ever show, because this volume is a work of science fiction perfection. It's hard
Well,
science fiction, it's pure science fiction, and it's just glorious. And so it's turned my brain into goo, because all I'm thinking about is this book, and I'm so inside of it that it's like the rest of my life is on pause. Does that make sense?
yes, yeah. Well, that's what
Sure.
happened when I read The Martian. It was like I think I read it in 2 days, and I think I stayed up to like 4 or 5 in the morning, like one more chapter, because it was so engrossing. So,
Yeah.
and then the story behind how that made it too was fantastic too. The Martian he was actually given up; he couldn't get published,
Yeah.
and he's releasing it on his website chapter by chapter for free.
Yeah.
The Martian, he'd given up, becoming an author, basically. Like you said, he had a job, and people are like, "Wow, this is amazing! This is so good. When's the next, chapter coming out?" So, he released it through the internet. It's one of the great success stories of the internet, because without that, who knows, that book might have been, disappeared. Could you imagine having that novel in your drawer somewhere completed?
Yeah.
You're the author, and no one reads it, no one knows about it, and it's such a brilliant piece of work, and no
Yeah,
one gets
well,
to see it.
I gotta say, I feel the same way about my short stories. I'm really getting to the point where I'm just gonna start giving them away for free. If I can't drum up any interest, I just can't believe that after such a rich history of short stories, that people just aren't interested in them. And it's so weird to go to these publishing sites, and they're pretty open and honest about it. Some of them put it in black and white on the websites. They're just saying, look, don't submit this stuff to us. We don't want it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's wrong, because I do think that there are a lot of people out there who read comic books. I think there are a lot of people who read graphic novels, and I think that there is an appetite for short stories.
Definitely.
So
Love
yeah,
short stories.
it's they don't want to publish anything. They want you to come with a ready-made audience, or they don't want
Right.
anything to do with you. It's heartbreaking, because it just
Ridiculous.
makes you want to throw up your hands and quit, right? It just makes
Yep.
you go, okay, what am I doing this for?
So everyone read Raquel's, novels and stories, and then post. I think the big thing you're saying that helps a lot is posting reviews, which helps show traffic.
It
Just
does.
like, clobbering that like button, or actually leaving a comment on the video. Like I
Yeah.
haven't done it lately for Clobberin Times, spinner rack, but always, even if just, this was a great video or something.
Yeah.
That just helps the algorithm and the interaction. You don't have to write something long, but it's if you do like it, tell them that you do like it,
Yeah.
and that always helps too when someone leaves some kind of comment or interaction.
Yeah, well, because of that, Andy Weir made it, and
Yep.
there are others that stupid shades of gray shades, whatever the weird novel.
50 Shades of Grey. Yep.
50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, the trash that made it the same way, and so did the Twilight junk, the Twilight bathroom reader.
And they're related.
Yeah, and my mother-in-law bought a Kindle, and she's an English teacher, taught Shakespeare, and she's like, "Mark, I'm trying to figure out how to buy books on my new Kindle." It's like, what do you want to buy, friend? She's like, 50 Shades of Grey. We're like, what? What, Grandma? You can't buy that.
And
God,
it hurts people like me who have gone to university and studied writing and the whole genre of writing for decades. And so it's a punch in the gut, because somebody can just come along and it's just gobbledygook and just terrible grammar, and it's a horrible story, and it's
she said it was
written.
horrible too when she read it. She was like, She thought it would have some redeeming qualities.
Right,
And
but that lady is a millionaire now,
Yeah.
and no one even knows who I am. So I guess
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how if you win awards in academia, or if you study writing and you work really hard at your craft and you create something beautiful, that all that matters is popularity. And that's a really that's the sad reality of our world today. And the good
Well, actually, the
stuff.
funny thing is she's taught with Wally Lamb, and she's good friends with Wally Lamb, and so we have all this signed books, and he was another success story, coming from a small teaching in a high school, and the story was Oprah Winfrey called the house to get him on the book club, and so one of the kids answered, said, "Oh, this is Oprah Winfrey." He said, "Oh, very funny," and hung up on the person, like literally like 3 times. She's like, like the fourth time, like, please do not hang up. I need to speak to your dad about his book. This is not a joke, not a prank. And then the rest is history. But it took Oprah getting him on the. I mean, he did get published, but it took Oprah getting him on the book club as a big break. But it's you need that kick. But I mean, I would hang up to. Yeah, this is Oprah. Yeah, right. Yeah, what are you calling me for?
Yeah.
And while I'm showing these, this is one of my favorite ship designs. This was the end of would never happen. Like Clobberin Times was saying, if we got 7 seasons, maybe this would have been the last episode, or you would have gotten the the Enterprise refit. And Doug Drexel actually designed the ship to incorporate this. So when you look, this is the original ship. It's such a brilliant design. The NX-01. It's
really
just
nice.
gorgeous. So I have a model that I got to build, but it's just
wasn't that a beautiful idea? Like that's another thing that I just loved about Ent is my husband's father was in the Navy, and he had done some work on he had done the electrical and nuclear submarines. And when you're thinking about what he's doing, and how he's working in a very tight spot. It isn't this spacious love boat where Captain Stubing is waiting for you, and and there's a bar and so on and so forth. So the thing that I really loved about it is that it made me feel like the technology was exactly where it needed to be for Enterprise. I love the fact that you had to put your head down inside the captain's quarters, and that it was tight. They were there. It reminds you that Star Trek is about astronauts. Star Trek isn't the Love Boat set in space. So that's another one of those things that I just love. I just absolutely love that ship because it taught everyone a lesson about Gene Roddenberry's original Star Trek and the intent behind it, right?
Yeah, there's no shuttle bay, right? You got to drop the shuttlecraft out, right?
Not really, not much of one. No, you got to drop it down. I mean, there is, but it's not like a bay, like a huge one.
Yeah, not like huge. We can walk
you have to drop it out of there, like you say. But and then, of course, they barely use the transporters at that point. They're afraid of the transporters at that point. It's very much like this. Like I said a lot, Archer's just getting started out. By the way, a lot of people listen. I think it was Phantom or someone saying they don't like Archer because he played he liked water polo. I mean, I like that he had a hobby. I love that he had a dog. I love the character of Archer because he, look, when it came down to it, he didn't play around. If he had to drop somebody's ass, he'd do it. If he had to fire phasers, well, if he had to fire torpedoes, he would damn the torpedoes. He would do it. He would, he didn't mess around. He didn't have to call a conference every time like Captain Conference Picard did. He was and yet he didn't have the same personality as Kirk. There are 2 different personalities. They're very different. Why make someone act exactly like Kirk? And yes, yet he was kind of the most. He was pretty Kirk-like when it came down to getting into business. But the thing is, he didn't have 100 to 200 years of Starfleet history and captains to study. He's out there just tripping all over the place, not knowing what, if you pardon the pun, stumbling all over the place. If it sounds better, not knowing what to do because there was no. It just flew out there at warp. Well, not really 5, although the ship could go 5.
Barely, right?
Yeah, and with not knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
But because you got to go out there, you got to get started some point. You got to start sometime. Yeah. And that's what they did.
And I think that to a certain point too, you have to be careful not to overplay the hand of someone who comes from modest means. I mean, I come from very, very modest means. I had very, very modest childhood. Um, and I'm being very kind right now when I articulate that. I grew up quite poor. Some would say abject poverty, even by Western standards. And so when we're looking at Archer and he's playing water polo, we're also looking at someone who's trying to prove himself beyond, nepotism. And so we're seeing somebody who has been involved in the program to get out into space for quite a long time. He has to be incredibly athletic because he's an astronaut. Once again, you're not testing the Voyager ship. You're testing in something that feels more like you're on a nuclear submarine. You're testing in something that feels more like our technology, and that's the key to that prequel. So when I'm seeing Archer as a character, as an editor, and as a writer, I think to myself how clever it was not to play too much to that hand of modest means, pulled himself up by his bootstraps and wound up at the top of the program at NASA. I just think that that's crap. It would have been too easy to do that. I love that we had a captain like Archer who had to work past that nepotism and that used his body. He was a physical kind of guy and a sporting kind of guy, and it gave us something to think about. And I will say this too, that there's a big divide between, and I'm speaking now of social science. I'm not just talking out my butt with my opinions here. There's a big difference between a nerd and a geek. And geeks really like football and they love popular culture and they love hockey and they love all that stuff. Well, nerds don't. It's really likely that you'll meet a lot of nerds that don't like sports at all. They'll actually make it into a gerund to make fun of it. Rather than say sports, they'll say sportsing, turning it into a gerund, making that linguistic joke. It's the way we talk about how we find sports oppressive. And so I really like how if you meet a nerd out on the street, a nerd might say to you, "Oh, yes, I don't like sports, but I really love cricket." Or I really love soccer, or as they call it, football, but football, or I really love water polo, or I really love chess. And so I just think that there was a lot of ingenious writing going on in the Enterprise writing room, and I don't think that it's been given enough credit because I just simply don't think enough experts have sat down in a writer's room to really tear that series apart and be really honest about what was happening in that writing. And I think it's really great writing. It's highly underrated. And I think it's because it hasn't been rated. People haven't given it a chance or taken it apart the way we take apart the rest of canon.
Well, I do think, I think there are sports nerds though, because some of them, those are the ones they like the sport. For example, they like baseball or whatever, or football, but they get so deep into the minutia of the statistics and things like that, that a lot of football fans just know, they know. I don't know. I think you could be a nerd with a sport as well, with statistics and things like that. And those are the ones that overanalyze a bit. And those are the ones that they like percentages. They like to talk about what the betting odds. Then they like to talk about, I mean, I know people that can name you every statistic of every batter that's ever batted for certain teams. So I think people they approach it a little bit differently. Remember, I told you not too long ago, mm-hmm. I talked to one of my favorite stuff. The only thing I love that as much as my geek stuff that's kind of outside that realm is pro football history. And I was talking to a buddy of mine. I was telling him he's an engineer, and it was about your differences between geek and nerd and the way you differentiate between the two and your definitions for that. And he had not really heard that much either, because I've told you a lot that not many people know. And that's good that you're just spreading it out there, by the way.
Well, it's in your dictionary, and there are also several PhDs who have written papers on it. So the definitive, if you're in the audience, the definitive before Clobby continues is a nerd is an academic. A geek is a person who specializes in a certain type of information. So anyway, Clobby.
I'm just telling you that whether it's right or wrong, or whether they should or not, most people don't know. It's been blurred. Blurred big time by pop culture.
Yes.
But my friend was telling me, because I was telling him about that, and he was amused by it. And he goes, "Yeah, I can see that what we're talking about." And he says, "Well, I was telling him how I'm a geek, and this, that, and she's a nerd or whatever." He said, "Well, actually, you sound like a nerd sometimes." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "On pro football, all this crap you know about the minutia of it, and of course I'm not. I'm just a geek." But he says you're kind of a nerd when it comes to pro football facts and history, not modern crap so much. Although, because I fell out of love with that a year ago. But and I go, well, maybe there's some nerd tendencies in there. So I do. I have met sports nerds who nerd out rather than geek out about the minutia of everything that goes on with sports, and they love statistics. Yes, they're still human beings. They like watching the game if it's baseball. A lot of people like watching football, but yeah, they do nerd on it as well. I think they nerd out on it. So.
Yeah. But generally speaking, what is happening in our culture is social scientists are aware of it. You can find lots of PBS presentations on it. It's this sort of idea that corporations are conflating nerd and geek because it helps them to pitch certain types of products to us. So, now there are people most people on the internet, on social media, identify as a nerd. Even if they hated school, they hate fine arts, they hate books, they've never read a book, and they're not interested in reading a book. And part of this comes from just simply being told that they're a nerd if they like something like a superhero movie, and so on and so forth. So it's really about people exchanging these ideas. There are several studies that put popular culture in a very strange place. Between I believe the statistics, but I'd have to look them up. I believe the statistics are between 60 and 85% of people lie about reading books that they've never read. They have no intention of ever reading them. So the thing is that in our culture, when you're saying that you're a geek or you're saying that you're a nerd and people are conflating them, what they're actually doing is they're trying to pass for these digital tribes. They're trying to fit in with and appear to be more intellectual than they actually are, or to become a part of a group that they're not actually a part of that particular group. And it has worked for corporations. There are people who have passively watched a superhero movie who are adamant on social media that they're a nerd. And like I said, they may have not even been to university and have never picked up a book or read it. They have absolutely no interest in classics or fine arts. They've never listened to opera, whether rich or poor. They're just not interested in it at all. But they have seen a superhero movie. So it's about language, right? And it's about the distortion of language. And it is for corporate ends. The corporations have been very successful in allowing people to create self-branding, to brand themselves and change their media metrics, their narrative, to appear to be someone who they're not.
I was reading a stat that, no, I was just going to say a stat that a certain percentage of people never left their home state in the USA, like what was like 15% or whatever the number was in certain areas, the demographic, like never left. And like my wife was talking to someone at, where their work, she talks to people all around the country, like woman who had never left her home state. She's in her 50s. It's like, how does that happen? Never travel or never experience the world or, it's just, and you don't want to pick on people, but then just travel is just such a great way to, experience things. Not that it's, it's not, it can be expensive, but of course, just going to like a national park, or, just drive to a national park. I mean, you just, of course, people maybe have to work, they're on a vacation, but I just think it's, if you don't expand your world, that's why the internet is so great. But there's nothing. I mean, you can take a tour of a place, online, but nothing you can't equate, to actually being there and seeing it in person too. So.
Well, we even have people who are faking that online now too, though, because that's also, that's also a currency, right? We see a lot of Instagram people being called out for, doing these exotic trips all over the world, and of course, people have this. What do the cool kids call it? FOMO, or this fear of missing out, and here these influencers are raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they've never left their home state. They have a great green screen. They're prodigiously gifted at Photoshop, and that's their presentation. But but yeah,
and people are dying for pictures now too, and you'll see that where they'll go somewhere,
well,
like
yeah,
over a cliff and they're not paying attention. And they said a lot
yeah,
of these places, or people will hike places and not be prepared or have the right gear, and they're going there just to get
yeah.
a selfie instead of enjoying the, I'm an amateur photographer too, so I love outdoor photography and things like that. But they're going there they're not, in the old days you take a picture for yourself and maybe blow it up and put it on the wall, but now they're going there to post it to social media to try to get likes, and then they're showing all these people that have been keep backing up, and it's you
It's a
want to
big
laugh, but it's
dopamine
sad.
hit. It's a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
dopamine hit. And we have, girls who are deforming themselves using cupping and suction and things like that to create fake freckles, doing extremely harmful challenges. And it's a big, and I say challenges, but they're actually doing like dangerous things that even stunt persons wouldn't do. So, people are very attracted to this, and it has fundamentally changed our society. You have people who have never read books who claim to be nerds. They
yeah.
have nothing to do with academics. You have geeks who are not geeks at all. They can't tell you the first thing about it, but they've watched one superhero movie. And you have these grand travelers. Yeah, Clobby, they've never picked up a comic book. I mean, the same rules for nerd apply for geek. If I'm standing in a room and somebody wants to talk about Socrates, we could talk about Socrates. We could talk about Foucault. We can talk about Chomsky, and we can talk about these specific writings. These are a regular currency in the nerd community. Just as when I'm in a room with wonderful geeks, I understand that geeks are brilliant. They understand the artist. They understand inking. When there's oil painting, who's editing it, who's writing it, and yeah, and so it's just marvelous, and it's okay for us to belong to these wonderful little social tribes that we have, because they enhance our lives, and it's a wonderful thing to reach out to the world and have your own people reach back to you.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I always say, that it's whoever did it. And here we go with, we got some good stuff here coming up. Whoever did it,
Sorry,
however it happened,
I got Raquel to stop talking by showing
it was Big Bang Theory that
she can't keep her chain of thought going. Like, there we go. Oh God, how to fluster Raquel? Yep. Sorry, Raquel, took you off your point.
Beautiful. I just absolutely love it. Yeah, if Brett Cohen is out there somewhere. I know Brett always loves it when I talk about social science and I talk about the study of human behavior online in communications and technology, and use comm theory. Brett, if you're out there, I'm sorry I wasn't on the Global Geek Gang today, but yeah, anyway.
I appreciate the nerd geek distinction, but I do not see either category being tied to sport nor academia. Well, again, I don't know. I can just tell you that the line got blurred because of things like Big Bang Theory and others and other stuff. So, because on Big Bang Theory, those guys are academic. If you've ever, I watched the show when it was early on. So the characters on there are academics. They're scientists. They're all brilliant, and of course, they're all very stereotypical. But they're also geeks. In other words, they buy comics. They talk in movie quotes, comic quotes. They have a comic shop in the show all the time.
They collect action figures.
Yeah, it's a corporate.
They do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a corporate conflation, and it brings our two groups together because it yields a lot of money. But it's important to tell you right now, Captain Cockney Mirror Spock, that I am an actual communication and technology scholar in real life. So it's very important for me to tell you right now, I don't decide what a nerd is, and I don't decide what a geek is, and neither do you. And this is a fact. You know who decides it? Are these groups themselves. they create a currency, a way of speaking to one another. They create semiology. They create signs, symbols, artifacts, language, things they share together. And that becomes their collective interest. And so you have a centrifugal reaction to the central, the core ideas that make a nerd and a geek a geek. And again, I will say that there are a lot of PhDs who have done studies on this. And, they've collected a lot of information from nerds and geeks all over the world about their interests. So with nerd, you can see things like academia. In the dictionary, you will see nerd is somebody who is obsessed or slavish toward academics. And so you have that, and you have books, and you have fine arts, and you have all of these things. And these are things that nerds, this little tribe of people, have decided on. And then you have geeks, and they have that same sort of thing, the popular culture, the encyclopedic knowledge of comic books and film techniques and how to write a film and how to write a screenplay and all these things. And so it's very important to realize I'm not getting on the internet and saying this is a nerd and this is a geek and this is my opinion, that's the end. It's actually about our society as a whole and how we make these different groups ourselves. Just like when we were growing up and there were headbangers, those guys who all loved heavy metal, or people who are punks who just love punk culture and they love music. It's easy to get on the internet and say, I'm a punk, but I love country music. Okay, that's great. But that's never going to change that social group of what they listen to, what they actually listen to, which is punk music. So there is a great deal of resistance, I find, to accepting that there are definitions for words and that they're clearly defined. And it's because a lot of people are very attracted to this idea of individuality. They don't want to belong to any group and they want to belong to every group. And then, of course, there are people who would really, really love to belong to a certain group and to be seen in a certain way. Self-branding happens like this because of social media. I believe the statistic is one study revealed that over 85% of Americans lie on their resume to make themselves appear to be smarter and more credentialed than they actually are. And that's a pretty high number. So these are social currencies that we use to move through the world, to get people attracted to us or to believe what we're saying or to like us. So just wanted to clarify that with you, Captain Cockney Mirror Spock. This is a matter of academics, and it's a matter of psychology and anthropology and comm theory. It's not something I just cooked up myself and thought I could bring it to Clobby'S Clubhouse.
But you all educated us, so I never really paid attention to the difference, but it definitely is. And like Phantom is saying, you can always see who's the Wakanda Forever posers and things like that. But people that are kind of if you're just casually into it, that's one thing. But you could growing up in school, like we're talking about, like some of the guys in the chat were saying, back then you get picked on for talking about comic books or things, and now they're so popular. But the other thing too, I noticed too, we had a student center where every school's the same way. We had all the different groups, like you had your heavy metal guys, you had like your deadheads, you had your hacky sack kids, you had the jocks, and I kind of moved among the different groups. And one of my friends was I had a bunch of quote unquote heavy metal friends, lack of a better word. And music really defined you too, growing up in the 70s and 80s. It was a big thing. And he's like, well, you always wear, preppy stuff. It's like, why don't you just wear what you want to wear? I'm like, well, you guys all wear the same thing every day. You wear jeans and a concert shirt and a jean jacket, and you all have your hair the same way. I'm like, you're all conforming to nonconformity. Yeah. And he kind of looked at me for a second. I'm like, they all the groups ended up looking, they said, I'm dressing the way I want to dress, but it's you all look, you could tell which group you were by how you dressed. And hipsters that had, remember the guy that was a hipster that sued the company because he thought they used his likeness and it was actually someone else, because all the hipsters ended up looking the same too. So
well, at the
it's
risk
funny
of
the way
sounding
things
kind
work.
of like a jerk, I think a lot of the there's no difference between a nerd and a geek. What are you talking about? I'm both, or any of that. I do think that comes out of the hipster community, and I do think that it's a little. I want to use the word incredulous to hear people talk about it in that way, because it's tantamount to, a cowboy showing up to a headbanger party and saying, "What are you talking about? I'm a headbanger too." Because
Yeah.
these signs, these symbols, these artifacts, this language that we use to create cohesion in our groups, these are all understood. And of course, it's preposterous to say that a nerd would be sporty, because a nerd would definitely be the last person ever picked to be on any type of sporting
On
team.
dodgeball, yeah.
In dodgeball, in university, in high school,
Yeah.
in junior high, I know a professor, and he's I won't name him, and he is a very good friend of mine. I love him very much. One of his sayings is, "I'm a nerd. What are you talking about? I have all the manual dexterity of a diseased yak." And it always meets with a grand hilarity, and nerds don't know the first thing about comic books. It was Clobby who taught me that there are actually fine arts in comic books, because some of them are oil paintings. Those Gold Key comics, they're oil paintings. But like I
Yeah.
said earlier, I don't want to be rude, but I will be very truthful. I have some writings on this about how we lie to appear to be more intelligent than we are, or to belong in certain groups when we think it will move our lives forward. And so we say things like, "Yes, I read The Diary of Anne Frank," or "I've read Foucault," or "I read War and Peace." These are books that we universally know no one except for nerds, unfortunately, have read. And so, it's a bit of a fraudulent stuff going on. It's not meant in a bad way. Nobody's trying to hurt anybody. They're just trying to belong, and they're trying to seem smart and fun. But I love what you've brought up here, Mark, because it's very true. You're not going to find a jock at a nerd party in 1985. It would be hysterical.
No, never.
So to
And
pretend that these groups
yeah.
don't exist anymore, I think is hysterical, and that's an internet thing.
And I kind of moved among all quote unquote all worlds, because I was, I played sports, but I love, played D&D and had all kinds of, geeky / nerd friends growing up. And I think a bit like you mentioned Big Bang Theory. I had some friends who were like, "What? You're not watching the show Big Bang?" And I'd never heard of it. I wasn't paying attention to what's on TV, or certain shows I watch, and that really popularized that culture. And of course that coincided with the Marvel movies. And funny story I always love to tell. We went out to Hollywood to do the studio tour, and we were looking at the set, and actually it was the comic book shop had been burned down, which was very sad. But of course you can't take pictures or quote unquote on the set, Stewart's comic book shop. So I was there for just before those episodes aired, so I knew the shop was gonna fake burn down. And then they're showing different things, and someone asked you're during the tour, they're like, "Well, who's that statue over there in the shop?" And I'm like, oh, that's Black Canary. And everyone's looking at me like, "Are you sure that's Black Canary?"
Yeah.
And my wife looked at everyone. It's like, he knows. Trust me, he knows.
Yeah.
And that's what Adam West did that to me. Adam West, of all people. When I met him in 1985 and got him, he was in costume. He and Burt Ward, and I got him to sign my picture to Joe Chill, and I had to explain who Joe Chill was. And then when I said I tried to get Burt Ward to sign to Boss Zuko, which of course responsible for the death of Robin's parents. I said, yes, he killed Robin's parents. He says, wait a minute. He starts arguing with me. Robin's parents died from a high wire accident. I said, yes, Boss Zuko had acid put on the high wire. He goes, what acid? And then in comes Adam West. These guys know, pal. Believe me.
Yeah. Batman West, Adam West in for the save, right?
Yeah. He goes, don't worry, I've talked to geeks before. They know. He even knew about Earth 2.
Yeah. Yeah, the internet has changed the way that there's a lot more social fraud that goes on now on the internet. Like I had a a colleague. She's also a professor. And she was what they would call remember how we were talking about centrifugal force in the heart. So there's the heart of these groups, and then it sort of spins out centrifugally. Well, she was what you would call a hardcore goth. And oh my goodness, I believe that she said she was writing a little bit about it, but I never checked back with her because I haven't spoken to her in many years. But I believe she was actually authoring a book on goth culture. And it's just hysterical because, of course, now you would go online and you would find these people who are really attached to misery. Some of them aren't even human beings, they're bots and so on and so forth. And of course, they would attach themselves to goth culture immediately. And they might not be a part of goth culture at all. So it's very interesting in social science to see how branding and making money and trying to get ahead in your job and trying to belong in certain groups will help you take on labels that you shouldn't be taking on. And what's worse is that people know. If you've only watched one superhero movie, perhaps you should not be on Twitter screaming and yelling at somebody who's studied comics for 50 years of their life, and they can tell you what the year, the number, and the serial number, the year, the month, the day, and what the back cover looked like on some obscure comic book. And there should be more respect for that because, as a nerd, I love these books. I love my books. Books are like children to me. And when I see them made into film, it makes me sick. I absolutely hate it. A book is language. We write a language. It's very unique that human beings have language. We have an alphabet, and we process language through the written word. And we write these pictures on what I refer to as the mind's eye rather than CGI. And so the same thing is happening in this geek culture where you have these incredibly sexy, well-wrought comic books made by artists and people who write these great stories. And there's this whole culture behind it. There are good writers, bad writers, incredible painters, inkers, people who use pencils to draw. And it's this whole culture. And it's been brought to bear by the corporation in the form of these superhero movies. And yet the people who know about the original text, or what we would call the source material, just like a book, they're not allowed to say anything about it because it's been made so accessible to the mainstream people, to normies, as it were, the word that we use for it, that they're not allowed to even speak. And even though they have read the what would be tantamount to the book on the character or on the pop culture exemplar. So it's quite absurd, and that's why I'm always bringing it up because I like to remind people when they're lying. I don't enjoy the lying, and I think that if we fess up a little bit more and start respecting people's expertise and respecting their little social groups and their interests, I think we'll have a lot more respect of one another online.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
Absolutely.
Sorry I just got to mention this.
Look at that.
You could go back in time and buy 2 tricorders for $275. Of course, that was a lot of money back then. $275, with inflation.
Don't mention time travel.
God, how much of those were? Yeah, shopping. I'd like a couple extra.
Could you make time travel?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Sorry, God.
I'd like to buy 10 of them, please. Yeah. How much those are, and what a genius designer he was. God.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is they scan. This is one of two surviving, one of the two original tricorders.
Wow.
You can tell how beaten up it is, and it's actually missing the innards. And these were no one knew Star Trek was going to be this popular. So it's not going to say it's a throwaway item, but
But these were also gutted
Yep.
Recorders. So where you're seeing the screen and the buttons, that would be where the 70s tape recorder would actually have the keys on the tape. So pause, stop, fast forward, rewind, record. And then there would be a place for a microphone. So what they did is, in order to save money, they gutted those and turned them into tricorders. But anyone who was alive at this time would know that this is your typical recorder that was used by musicians, professors, radio people. And so they're basically gutted, and then so they're not made from scratch is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they'd always use things. Yeah, you could buy. You'd always use parts that were available to save money, like McCoy's, medical scanners or futuristic salt shakers. So the story was, they were going to use these salt shakers, and they said, well, no one's going to know they're salt shakers because they're too futuristic.
Yeah.
So then they just said, well, let's turn them into the medical scanner that's in the tricorder.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So they digitized the tricorder, the original, and they made this gorgeous 3D model. So then you've got, and you can see, from the screen captures too. Now, of course, the Star Trek was shot on film, so you can have it in, some high resolution 4K. So you can, they've certain close-ups they'll freeze on, so you can get a look at the communication. I always thought the actors did a great job of, pretending to use these quote unquote props / instruments to make it look real. Yeah, and it made it much more believable too. The way, because the screen on here is small, and it's obviously it's futuristic, but it's still a CRT. You can obviously tell. They hadn't invented the flat panel yet, or maybe it was invented, but not practical at that point.
I'm sorry.
Cockney,
I beg your pardon. Captain Cockney Mirror Spock. I'm sorry. What do you mean by that? 5 minutes of chat here gives me 6 hours of live stream material. I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, he talks about a lot of the different stuff, because he's fascinated by a lot of your definitions about the geek nerd thing and different things. But also, T and I have been teasing each other about time travel a lot. He's a big fan of dissecting time travel. And okay. Captain, I think you should change your name to Captain Two Marty's Spock. And he knows what I'm talking about, because he really loves to talk about the paradoxes in Back to the Future. So yeah.
And I agree, Captain. I'm so sick of time travel too. So
yeah, we talk about that with Trek.
So angry in Star Trek. This not time travel.
They use it too much. They have used it too much in Star Trek.
Yeah, if it was it was an accident like Sitting on the Edge of Forever,
Well, he didn't even like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying that was at least they weren't. All of a sudden now, if you can time travel at will, and Gary 7, it's like, hey, wait a minute, we can just go back in time.
Stephen Hawking talks about it in the I believe it's his final book that he wrote, which I just read.
Last book, yeah, you tell me about that. You read it.
Yeah, and he speaks about it at length, and because of course that being able to go faster than the speed of light would make it possible. And of course, I don't understand the details of the astrophysics because I'm not an astrophysicist, and I don't claim to be, nor do I pretend to know more than I do know. But he was saying something about how that would also change the ability to be in different dimensions. And of course, he said that both are entirely impossible. He was saying that he thought that a warp bubble, he's skeptical that a warp bubble could ever work, but breaking the speed of light is not possible in his opinion. And of course, yeah, it would entitle us to go back in time. And what's interesting is he held a fake meeting at the university. So he didn't tell anyone about it, and he held this meeting in one of the auditoriums at the university. And then he waited until it was over. And then, of course, he released his findings, which was that if anyone knew that Stephen Hawking was giving a lecture in an empty auditorium in the future, that they would appear. And of course, they didn't. And he uses this as a proof of his theory, but it's not proof of his theory. That's just a joke. It's a very cerebral joke. But he is adamant that it will not be possible because of the fact that it will open up the equation for dimensions. There are multiple dimensions, but we can't exist in other dimensions, according to Stephen Hawking, even though they exist. And we would, breaking the speed of light would entitle us to go back in time, or forward in time and back in time. Anyway, very interesting read. Please read I forget the title of it. It was so good. I literally read it in 4 hours. It was so good. I forget the title of it, but his last volume
His last book.
sensational.
Wow. Well, Cottony, there you go, dude. We and yeah, it's backwards is the problem. Yeah, but anyway, continue with your tricorder.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say too. Something in Internals. Did they time travel in that movie?
No,
but they would have. Like I was thinking, like
Endgame did.
Yeah, but imagine if if they knew about Jesus or certain religious figures, you could have actually gone to, imagine being able to go time travel or go back in time, to meet, various figures in history. It's just, and of course, the Orville Nation is asking if you I love Sliders. Orville Nation is asking you if you watched it, Clobberin.
I have watched it a little bit. I have I remember when it came out, I had a personal grudge with Sliders. It was stupid. It's total idiot geek stuff, but not the show. Mine being stupid, because when it first came on, for years and years and years before that came up, I used to want to try to write things, and I used to write old stories and never, because I had never confidence in them. I throw them away, but I that concept that, before Tracy Torme ever breathed, probably, I'm kidding, he's probably as old as me, but I played with it a lot. And then when I saw someone made a TV show of it, I'm like, God damn it, that was mine. I was mad at him. But no, in all seriousness, though, I thought it was a pretty good show. I haven't got a chance to watch it in a long time, but I did watch it from here and a little bit here and there. And that might be something I should go back and watch again, because, again, there's nothing good ever going to come out again with new stuff. So,
well, Tracy Torme is trying to bring Sliders back now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there you go. But I do like it.
Yeah, if you had the original people involved, hopefully it'd be good. Yep.
I never watched it.
It was a fun show.
I had a buddy of mine that used to make a running joke about Sliders. His joke was, "Oh my God, we've gone to a parallel world where the hot and cold taps are reversed."
Yeah, there were some funny things on that. Yeah,
but it was a good show. It was a fun show. A lot of people really liked it.
Arturo was a great character. Yeah.
So this is one thing I don't like about what the Wand Company did here, though, is if you scroll back up, you'll see that the onset and the replica prop made by Diamond Select show that, I'm sorry, I think it's on a different page. It appears you've moved pages. But from the side profile, you can clearly see that the shoulder strap on the TOS tricorder has a black top and a tan brown inside. So it was leather that was tanned black and then a rough inside. But the Wand Company, the one that they're making, this beautiful, like better than the original series on-set prop, did you notice that the strap is black on both sides? That's one thing I don't like. If I were going to bid on this and put in my money to get it, although this is way too rich for my blood, I don't like that particular aspect of it, because on the show you can see when Spock gesticulates with the tricorder to direct it at things and so on and so forth. You can see that brown underside.
I think they talk about that for some reason too in here. I'm trying to.
It's a glow in the dark.
I'll go back and find it. That's a 3D print to test their.
Glow in the dark one, right? No,
yep. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, see, that's not a good strap. There's the strap.
Oh yeah, the strap. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that.
You don't like the strap?
No, it should look like the replica. It should be a replica, I think, of what was on set. And I understand that they want to make it from scratch, not from, refabricated radios like they did on TOS, because that's what they did. But there are some changes that I don't think they should make.
Well, here's the strap. I think they talk about the strap too.
Yeah, it should be brown on one side and black on the other. Or did you read it? Somebody else complaining about it in the comments. And there's the brown and the black. You see the brown underside on the strap there.
looks like that's the seam, like the edge of the seam too.
That's the edge of the seam on that one. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have your Diamond Select out?
I do. Yep, I can grab it. Yep. Hold on, everyone.
Go ahead and grab your Diamond Select and show everyone, which is the actual replica of it. So, of course, there's some difference in some of them, but I just like the brown under. I don't know why. Probably because I love the replica prop.
That's amazing, though. That's just beautiful. But yeah, like I should probably go back. I guess again, the sliders. They're trying to bring it back. That would scare me, even with the original creator, the way things are these days. But those of you who are a fan of sliders, I definitely wish you the best of luck on that. I need to probably go back and watch again. It's been since it came out since I've watched any of them.
There, he's got it. I can hear it. You can probably hear my puppy crying too. Sorry.
Oh, puppy dog, puppy dog.
Okay, what does your strap look like? Can we see your strap?
Yeah.
Just don't dox yourself, and hopefully you're wearing pants.
Please.
Yeah, just phrase that. Yeah, if you want to put me back on, put the camera on, Mike. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hang on.
You got to careful how you phrase that.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So this has like a lighter. Yeah, it's like a lighter color.
Yours is a lighter
strap.
color. Okay, all of the ones that I've seen are the brown. Let me check though. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Let me look.
Well, actually, if I turn the light down,
No, it is gray. It is gray. It's not brown. I'm full of it. It's brown.
Well,
it's
it
gray.
picks up
It's
some
gray.
of the color, depending on the. This is an LED light too, so the light temperature can mess up how things look.
Yeah. See, I'm getting senile. It's because I'm a half a century old now.
Oh no. Well, you're still the youngest here. No? Yes, you are. You are. I think so. I think you're still the youngest one here. Affirmative, Captain. This is a real tricorder. You can do everything.
It's gorgeous, isn't
And
it?
you plug this into a mnemonic memory circuit using stone knives and bear skins.
That Diamond Select is such a nice tricorder. I'm so proud to own one. And I'm currently in my pajamas, so I'm not going to show mine.
Pajamas.
Yes, I'm in my pajamas.
People still wear pajamas out there? Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know they still made those.
Well, they're very formal looking. They're actually pajamas that look like a suit. So they have black piping and they're black and white polka dotted and they're piped.
So they're like motion picture uniforms.
Pretty much.
A buddy of mine always called the motion picture the pajama party. I personally kind of like some of those uniforms. Depending, I like the Kirk's, the white and blue one. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, Captain Cockney Mirror Spock. Yeah, there is. Like, that's the thing. You know what I mean? And this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier, is there are people that think that there's a huge market for toys, and there is. I mean, geeks have so much buying power as far as toys go, but nerds really, really go for the props. They really go for the props. And so do collectors, like normie collectors. So I'd like to see both, Captain Cockney Mirror Spock. I would love to see some really nice replicas being made again where it's like, oh, wow, like this could have been used on set. It's so accurate. It's beautiful. And I guess I'm like that because I like models. And then I also think that you are correct, that there is a huge demand for the beautiful, beautiful toys and action figures to be used as currency in that geek community. And it's very evident that people love it, right? They just absolutely love it.
Somebody shrunk your tricorder.
What's in the top of it?
So that's it's a Christmas ornament.
Oh, very cute.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, does the front drawer open?
Wow.
It doesn't, but it's one of my favorite Christmas ornaments, but it's so cool. I leave it out all year.
That's so cute.
Is that cute? Yeah, and it lights up. Yeah, you went nuts when you saw that the first time.
That's gorgeous. I love that.
Everyone's seen this one.
The tricorder family.
Yeah, your
was-
communicator is. I want to use an '80s word. I want to say bitchin' because you've course you've got the brass closure. You've got the brass
Is it
cover.
brass? Oh, that's not like the one I have then. Damn it.
They only made it for 1 year with the
Yeah.
real
not
brass.
sure.
Yeah.
And
that's the
I
one
didn't pull the trigger when it was
Oh,
brass, and so
I don't-
now I'm in the naughty corner wearing the dunce cap.
I can't remember if that's the one I have or not. I don't think it's brass though. So
You would not believe how great these are for cosplay because of the fact, like you fully LARP in this. It's unbelievable. It's like you're walking off set. It's
I
great.
remember that one. That's from the 70s.
Yeah.
Walkie talkie. You got both.
The
You got two of them.
walkie-talkie
Or,
set.
two of them or one of them.
3.
Three. That's weird.
Well, my sister has one of the originals. I have the other original. I bought a set of 2. So this is our favorite toy to play with as kids.
Oh
so.
God, yeah. I had those for a while. My brothers.
They're crappy quality, you know.
Yeah, they didn't work.
70s
They didn't have a
electronics.
long range, but
And these stopped working now too, unfortunately. So
oh really? Oh, well.
yeah, one of them stopped working. I haven't had batteries in a long time, but the electronics are for SH double whatever. I mean,
Captain
it was made
Cockney
cheaper.
Spock,
but
I'm sorry that I
favorite
mixed
toy.
that up. I'm very flattered that you would say that. I think it also turns a lot of people off because it's very nerdy talk. I think some people really, really like it, and I think other people are like, "Oh my goodness, why doesn't she just stop talking?" So yeah, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
There's
Shown this
the
before,
motion picture Arathicon phaser.
Yep. Let's see, what's the light here? Come on. There we go.
Claude is here. Minimus Claude.
Oh, Mr. Parrish.
Claude. Call him Claude.
I love him. I had to call him Mr. Parrish because where you guys are from, you call him Claude, and he has a beautiful name. His name is Claude.
Claude.
It's beautiful.
Claude. I think it's Claude. That's his name. Now he Parrish the thought, but Louisiana, I think, is the only state in the union where they don't say counties; they say parishes.
Parishes.
Oh.
It's spelled like that, I think, as well. But
They use parish in Jamaica too, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
Both times
okay.
when I was in Jamaica, all of the neighborhoods, or maybe I've been in Jamaica more than twice. Anyway, I think they also use parish there.
Yikes!
So this one comes apart too, which is nice. So
Ooh.
and it's got a magnet, and it makes a noise when it connects. So you kind of
That's beautiful.
So it's a pretty strong magnet on the back here, and it pulls it in.
Yeah, I'd love to have a phaser rifle.
Yeah, Clobby, that's what I'd love to have as well.
Both of them.
Yeah.
This is my other favorite toy as a kid. So I was watching the animated series. So this was a flashlight.
Oh, that's great! Look at the beautiful lettering. Oh, that's gorgeous.
So I had this on Christmas morning.
Nice.
This is I still have my original. I kept all my toys. Mine is a little bit more beaten up. And my uncle was like, Marcus, if you don't stop playing with that bleepy bleep toy, I'm gonna break it, because it made the world's worst noise. If you put the battery in here, it goes. It's like it's grating on your. It doesn't make a nice phaser sound. It's this horrible noise. So and then on the top here, you open this up, and you can store these discs in here.
What does it sound like?
Different...
Like Lights of Zatar?
Are you going to move your mouth like her?
Yeah. So there's the Klingon ship. So you could project. You'd put this on the front like this.
Wicked.
Oh yeah, Claude got his Enterprise pistol. We both have that. Signed by Gary Graham. Cool.
Nice.
Gary Graham's
Saval.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
So this goes into here.
Blackballed out of Hollywood, though. But yeah.
Let's see how this is fit. Goes in here like that.
Blackballed out of Hollywood? Why? Do tell. Teach
Because
me.
he has the wrong opinions.
Oh, okay.
If you see what I'm saying.
Yes, I do, Captain.
So you could change all the discs here. And then you could have, you got the Enterprise, of course, which is the best one.
Nice.
And then look, you've got the Jupiter 7, or was it
Jupiter 2?
Jupiter 2. Like they make
What?
these toys and they put
Whoa,
random.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's in the.
Oh
the
my
kit.
God! I
Put
love
a
the
UFO.
Jupiter.
Like instead of making another ship or something.
Is it Jupiter 2 from Lost in Space, or is that the Invaders?
No, it's just like it's supposed to be like a UFO.
Looks like it. Looks like it.
It says 1975 Remco toys made in Hong Kong. So they
Wow,
put the light on.
That's amazing. Wow, Lost in Space, sort of.
Sort of, right? What you do,
The Jupiter 2.
You put the flashlight through the light, and then you project. You make a projector. Let me turn the light back off.
Wah, 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 wah. It made me think of Lost in Space. Oh yeah, that's right. Gary Graham was on Alien Nation.
So let's see. Well, if I turn the light off, but there are too many lights on here, but you get the idea. You put the flashlight going through with the
that's cool
symbol. And you walk around the house and have that light beam going everywhere.
That's amazing.
Captain,
yes.
Chief Engineer, we have a wonderful question from Kal-El.
Question for host: what do all of you think of the TNG Bluetooth communicator replica that can pair with your smartphone and you can talk via the replica comm badge? I bet that's not too cheap.
It's too expensive for me. I'm sorry. It's I'm of modest means. Right now, I'm an unemployed professor. I haven't worked since the vid began. So, and prior to that, I put myself through university, and I am still unable to complete my PhD because I don't have, although I have a refereed SOI and dissertation material, I don't have the $84,000 to defend. So that's where all my money's been going, and yeah, it's expensive.
What does it cost? Do you have any idea? I mean.
It's a lot. In Canada, it's like double what you guys pay down there. It's definitely over 300. Mark, I think Mark actually has that one.
Which one? Oh no, I don't have that.
No,
I should have bought that one. Actually, here, I'll show you. The Wand company has one. It's not the next gen one. I can show you the. It's sold out.
Thank you, Cockney. I appreciate that, buddy. Very nice.
Good question. Yep. So. Yeah, if you want to go back to the screen, I can show you there's the TOS one, which I should have bought. And I think it's a really cool idea. I mean, I think it's, pairs with your phone. So everyone's got cell phones now. So it's kind of a fun thing. Maybe it's, overkill, but if it's on your desk, it's kind of cool. You can actually talk with your cell phone through it. And that's a gorgeous,
nice. That's beautiful.
Metal. And they did
It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's just too rich for my blood. But I can tell you this, for those of you who are of more modest means, Clobby and I use, I'm not sure if Mark still uses, but I use the actual old school configuration for turning your cell phone into a communicator through the app. So you get the beautiful brass face as your home screen, and you can flip it up and it makes all the same interactive sounds.
Yeah, I used to do that too. Yep.
I can't have it anymore.
Yeah, and I bought all of the sounds, even the boatswain. I forget how you guys told me how to say it because I'm not from the military. But I even have that. I have the tribble sound that I have provisioned to prompt replies from my daughter. So when a tribble goes off, I know it's my daughter. When it's photon torpedoes, I know it's my husband, and so on and so forth. So, and they have all of those available. So if you are of more modest means and you would like some of those, you can download those for Android and Apple. You just have to search them out. You just look up. Well, the first thing you should do, and
what's a good,
hear me out here.
Recommend a good one because I'm seeing a gazillion of them right now.
Yeah. Okay. Go to Soundboard and go to a Star Trek soundboard out on the open internet. And there is a super old school one from Web 2.0. It plays samples. Now, before you buy for Android and before you buy for Apple, you're allowed to hit the sample button to hear what it sounds like. Just make sure that it's correct. You just don't want to buy something and it's
That
MIDI.
used to be free. Damn it.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
that stuff is free. Yeah.
yeah, I remember when the entire LCARs for Windows 97 was free. You can't get that anymore either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying $2, $1. Yes, soundboard. But I remember I had the app where it made it look like you're saying, it made it look like the communicator.
I still have that. I think that
trying
one
to find
is. I think it's $1.99. I still have it, and because I'm an Apple customer, it stays with me wherever I go. And all of the sounds I want to make sure that I got TOS. So I just went to the soundboard. I just went out to a Web 2.0. I could have used the Wayback Machine, and I found a soundboard of TOS just to make sure that they were the OG sounds from the show. And then I just bought them at, I believe, 99 cents a crack. And I bought quite a few of them. And so now they're on my Apple account permanently. I don't know how it works for Android because I haven't had an Android for a really long time. Yeah,
you would stay with your Android phone. So I'm seeing more next gen stuff as I'm searching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm seeing Star Trek ringtones and
do they still sell ringtones or?
Yeah, absolutely. Want to hear? Hold on, guys. I will get that for you right now. My wonderful
here's the Playmobil app for the new Enterprise that's out. Oh no, I can't get that.
Okay, so yeah, here we go. So I'll just turn up my phone here and you can hear. And I'll actually give you the names and you can just search them. So this is the original Gangster SFX Red Alert.
There you go. Nice, yeah.
So
I miss those things.
Okay, so these are their names. These are the ringtone names on Apple for those of you in the audience who asked. Enterprise computer, data being received, or data being received.
Yep.
It's Magel or Magel or Magel, whatever country you're from, Roddenberry. And then I have SFX, and please, I'm sorry I'm saying this wrong, boatswain whistle. And then I have the communicator beeps. I have the door chime. I have the hand phaser. I have red alert. I have the transport beaming in. I have the triple coups, and I have the photon torpedoes. So that's how you look them up.
I mean, I had all the sound, back in the day, like, in the 90s, 80s, we'd set up the computers, with all the sound effects, like every effect. And you could buy the, if you Google, they had the screensaver. So it was a Berkeley the flying toasters. And I have all the Star Trek screensavers.
Yep.
They're
gorgeous.
I
remember all that. Yeah.
They don't run anymore. They're really tough to run again. But oh God, the Star Trek packs I have all the Star Trek packs.
Yep.
I wish you can watch them on YouTube. But it'd be fun to be able to get those to run again. Or maybe I should just set up an old Windows 95 computer and just put them on there because I have all the hardware.
Yeah, like, you could just harvest the sounds from it, right? If you set up an old Big Bertha and you just receive the sounds off of it, right? And then you could use them. Yep. But I mean, they are available.
Effects,
They're worth buying, you guys, especially if you're on an Apple, because you keep them forever. And for me, like, I'm never getting rid of mine. Like, I could never, ever get rid of them. What other sounds and haptics would I use? I don't want to hear anything else from my phone. I think of Cooper and I think of my master's thesis and making sure that I fit Cooper into my master's thesis. And then I think if he thought Communicator was to invent the cell phone, then I definitely need to make sure that my cell phone is a Communicator.
Yeah, I have a bunch of let's see if I have the sound effects. Yeah, they'll play it.
Nice.
I don't have my. I'm not sharing my audio,
don't do that.
I guess, but it'll play all the. I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Wow. Now that next gen one that has to be expensive because it's just the comm badge, right? I mean, how does that work?
Well, I guess with the electronics, they must have them down so they're small enough where they can actually get it to fit into the COM badge, which is amazing. But the battery life can't be great. But look at the Apple Watch that they've got going now too. So it's keeps getting better and better. So
well, that worked for TMP, and of course TMP basically, Gene Roddenberry invented the Apple Watch. The only problem with it is that if anybody actually read the novel, they would find out that no one would go for that these days.
That's a Clobberin time.
My ringtone. Sorry, go ahead.
That's
and
a
of
good
course,
one.
the reason being is that in the novel he makes it quite clear that that he has accepted a chip into his wrist, and that's how they get a hold of him. That's how they alert him. So the differences between the book and the film, the differences between knowing and sort of just watching, right? It's a very different way of taking in the information.
And that the book was pretty racy too. I remember reading it as a kid. My mom probably wouldn't have wanted me to read that.
I have a first edition.
Nice.
My husband bought it for me as a gift, and I'm sure it was terribly expensive, and I absolutely love it. It's just glorious, and it's in pristine condition.
Mine's beat up.
I love it.
I don't know if I have a first edition. I'm not sure, but as a paperback, is it a paperback or hardcover?
No, I have a hardbound.
Hardcover. Yeah, I just have a paperback.
The dust jacket doesn't have a single bend in it. It's like somebody bought it, and thank goodness so many people lie about reading, because
they never read it. Yeah.
They didn't even crack the spine. They just watched the movie and they were like, "Oh yeah, I read that book."
Don't even look at it.
I reap the rewards of this lie.
It don't look read. It doesn't look like you read it. You can tell because it's easy. I mean, that's why when I buy a hardback or something, if it's a comic, especially a book, it just depends. Like if I buy a hardback book or whatever, I hate a hardback doesn't mess it up too much, but I hate when even if it's just a paperback just for reading, I hate bending that spine. I hate messing it all up.
Yep.
I don't know because I'm bad, guys. Because I'm not bad about comics. I hate messing up my comic. I hate messing up trade paperbacks, whatever it is, or any book.
I'm the same way.
Do you take the cover off when you read a book so you don't mess up the cover?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Do you dog-ear pages?
No way.
No. I think people who dog-ear pages should be kicked in the bum.
I want that as much as I possibly can. I want that. I want that. Even if it's just a normal, like regular sized paperback. Mm-hmm. If I read it, I don't want to bend that spine, and I hate bending it. But I try to keep it in as nice a shape as it was before I read it. And obviously, it's not easy but it's a little bit with a normal small paperback. It's okay. With bigger ones or some of them, it's not quite as easy. It just depends on the spine. And I know it's ridiculous. It's not going to be worth anything. It's for reading. No. I can't stand messing it up too much.
Yeah, I hate it too. But one place where we might we might depart from one another, we might go off in different directions with one another, would be marginalia. I'm a deep reader. So I always bring a pencil with me, and I am brutal with marginalia. I have extensive conversations with the author within the text along the margins. And it's quite humorous because if my daughter reads the book after I do, she says, "Oh, I loved your comparative literature insight here in comparing it to this text." That's absolutely true. I did see that. And, "Oh, I love this, this allusion from this novel. That was great." And so I am terrible for that. I do not crack spines. I do not dog-ear pages, but I am brutal with the marginalia. A pencil. I even highlight. You should see my very ancient copy of 1984. The highlighting and the marginalia inside it's just brutal.
It's look, Sherry, I like she reads it at a 90-degree angle. I like that. And Cockney is brutal to his. I'm with books not quite as bad, but I still all my Trek books are in pretty good shape or whatever Doctor Who novels, whatever the science fiction books are all my comics history books though. I like to keep them in nice shape, and magazines I'm bad about too, because my two favorite things out there, Back Issue Magazine and Jack Kirby Collector. I buy that every month from Tomorrow's, but I don't touch it. They give you a free digital if you buy the physical. So I want the physical to keep. I want to have it, and I almost never touch it. I read the digital of it so I don't mess it up. That's how bad I am.
I love that. I like that you read trade publications too, and I think it's very interesting that you read professional trade and industry journals. And so, whenever I'm telling people that you're a subject matter expert and you appear to be incredibly resistant to that, I do mean that. If you lived closer to me and I were in front of my class and I wanted to talk about, something with pop culture, I would definitely bring you in to talk about geek culture and to talk about the craft of comic book authors and artists and so on and so forth, the entire publication mechanism of comic books. And if I were back in radio, I would do the same thing therein as well. You have a fascinating mind. And prior to meeting you, I didn't even know that there were professional trade and industry journals in comic books. But of course, afterwards, I felt a fool because obviously there would be. I mean, it's an entire genre of writing. What was I thinking? I was being a nincompoop.
Well, how would you not? You wouldn't know unless you didn't. It probably just never occurred to you. But like I say, as you know, I don't buy any modern comics like some people around here. But
that's okay. That's all right. Yeah.
The things I buy that come out, Back Issue Magazine is all about the Bronze Age. Jack Kirby Collector, well, you know what that's about. Alter Ego, that's about the Silver Age for the most part. And reading about comics history has been, and the other books that they make at Tomorrow's, has been more to me than any for the past 10 years, any new comics coming out. And I always have. I love, again, and not many people are into that sort of thing, but I love reading about, I love all that stuff, of the history of it, what went on behind the scenes, the writers, the artists. I don't know why. I mean, it's almost as good
what do you
to me
mean
as
you
the
don't know
stories.
why? It's because you love writing and you love communications.
It's just a history thing, I guess.
Yeah, but that's why I always tell you, you would be such a great seminar host for authors. I have an undergraduate degree in writing, professional and academic writing. And of course I studied writing in university. And I just absolutely love how you have showed me just how intricate that universe is. It's every bit as intricate as the magazine business, as the novel business. It's just unbelievable when you're looking at scholarly, peer-reviewed research journals, professional trade journals, popular magazines, newspapers, books. I mean, these are all different areas of publishing. And your mind is a marvel when it comes to a marvel, pun intended. Your mind is a marvel when it comes to a DC. Your mind is a DC when it comes to comic books. And I wish more people understood the complexity, and I would almost use the word majesty of this particular part of publishing that not a lot of people are talking about. I think in academia, more people are talking about the art and the discipline and the craft of graphic novels, but not to the level of your knowledge, Clobby. And Mark, you're ridiculous too.
I mean, I pale in comparison to many I know of, but I'd say Hungry Boy, I actually did a show about the Comics Journal and all the, and about a few months ago did a show covering Comics Journal and its ilk fanzines and comics trade magazines and things like that. But I'm glad you mentioned the Comics Journal, dude. I loved it, and it was the most elitist rag ever. It was so elitist, but yet I loved it. It's how and Fantagraphics, they still make sort of the Comics Journal, but it's only online now.
No Captain has to leave. Captain Cockney Mirror Spock is headed out. So good night or good morning where you are. Yep.
Hey, thank you so much, and what kind and generous comments you've made here this evening. Thank you so much for sharing your company with us and your wonderful feedback. Have a wonderful evening, Captain Cockney Mirror Spock.
Take care, bud. Appreciate you.
I just was I got this up. Explain what this is for which is hail. So, and he knows what this is. So
fellow programmer shows up.
this is an injection mold. So when you make plastic parts, they just don't come out of the ether. So this was the flat part that you'd see here, and this is another part. I'm trying to tell which part that's made. So what happens is you've got, I mean, these can cost $10, $20 to $100,000 to make just the tooling. So you've got a skilled machinist, or these days you've got CNC, but back in the day it would have been a tool and die maker who would take the drawings and actually make a mirror of what has to happen. But you also have to have, into your design, you have to have a draft angle in your designs so that the part will actually release. Because think of it, if you had the angles of the wall the wrong way, when you do the injection, the part's never going to come out. So you actually have to, there's something called a draft angle, or a release angle, basically. Think of it that way. You've got to design the parts so you can actually make them and inject them. And so this is where the plastic is being injected. It's really an art form to try to design something.
So you use mathematics in order to create the conditions for releasing a product from a mold. So basically, folks at home, it's very important for you to realize that they're not using Pam.
Yeah, well, they do actually have mold release. You do put mold release into, which is quote unquote, which is funny, which is actually kind of like Pam. But if you don't, you've got to use the, when they say you can never use geometry again, if you're an engineer or machinist, they're designing these parts, so they're going to come out. And this is why things are so expensive. It's a limited run.
Yeah.
Say this, I'm guessing, and if you make things in Asia or China, they can be cheaper, but some of the tooling can cost, you could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time you're done with all the tooling to make the parts. So that's why a 3D printer is nice, because, I could print these parts, but they'd never come out in the quality and, and of course with speed, so you could bang out a lot more. So it's all relative, but, that just gives you an idea. So they're making, that's this piece here. See the ridges?
Yeah.
So that's the ridges here, and that's the other side here. So
I
that's
feel like
actually,
I'm at work with my husband.
So this is actually this is where that part is coming from, that piece here. And I guess to see what the other piece, if they had the other piece showing here in the mold. And then you want to have design more than one piece too, and something like this, so you can make, you're making this mold, so you have less, less pieces, or more, less dies, or tool, injection molds to make. And it's also a lot of work to try to get the right temperatures. Like we had a small primitive machine in our shop for prototyping, and like you'd have to heat up the plastic the right amount and try to figure it out, and how much pressure to inject and how long, and sometimes things would get stuck. So it's not always easy, but it's fun though. Yep.
I like
So
how
look how gorgeous
cool
this is going to be.
is revealing some of his superhero names for Clobby'S. So there's Clobby, there's Clobbage, and then there's the Clobbinator.
I like that one. By the way, the DC set, well, show it to me. I'll be glad to see it for you.
Yeah.
And yes, I missed the Real Man magazine.
Yeah.
When it's not there anymore. Yeah. Well, especially the 80s. But of course I would have old. That screen is killing me. That is unbelievable.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Isn't it incredible? The detail is it's mind blowing.
And they're going to measure degree. They're going to have it, with sensors on it too. So they're going to measure. They're going to have a mic that's going to measure audio levels, and SD card slot, USB V bus, charge low, hood open, record, listen, sound. So they're going to go all out with this. So it's God, it's going to be about $300.
That's $300 American.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then imagine
it's
shipping it here,
though,
and then
right?
Imagine the import fees, and just imagine all the fees. They're just all racking up until
Well,
you get.
Can
to
you leave Canada
500.
yet? Are you allowed out of the? You're allowed back to the U.S. right now, or aren't you? Or
I think
no?
so. Yeah.
The borders are open, right? Yep. So at Clobby'Con, we'll see. Sorry, not enable. Yep.
Are you
Enable. Your con. You're going to do a con up there called Enabling Con.
Enabling Con. Yep.
Yeah. We're gonna. What he's gonna do is he's gonna sell tickets to Mark D with the C's Catacombs, and that's what the C's gonna stand for from now on.
Yeah. they did a nice job in Photoshop with this. The
Yeah,
person
she's
did,
beautiful.
cleaned up
I mean,
that image. Yep, and they got
she's
some
absolutely
3D
gorgeous.
details. Yeah, so that's the screenshot from the
That's
newspaper.
amazing. Alaric, yes, that was a beautiful book. That was from like the mid 80s, wasn't it? One of the actual graphic novels, a real graphic novel, not just a trade paperback. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, Phantom is saying his brother is a machinist. Yeah, very cool. Yep. So he makes basically making plastic bottles for products. Yeah, but it's a
That
lot
is
of it's a real
fantastic.
skill. Yep.
Oh, so
You take
he's
it for
not a
granted,
regular
right?
machinist. He's a CNC machinist. So he does programming. He must if he's doing plastic injection molding and things like that. So, yeah, he's not standing in front of a lathe.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, very
Not
cool,
these
Phantom
days. Yeah, in the
Outsider.
old days. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do have semi-automatic machines you can do now too, where that's like kind of like a Bridgeport, where you program it. And it depends on if you're making like a prototype or one or two. You can do a lot of automatic things now too with the machines. But this is so cool the way they did this, and then
This is
they have this
amazing what they did. This is amazing.
I love this. Yeah.
Because you're
And they've got the
replaying
text,
that moment in the episode, right? And that makes it incredible. It's not just pulled out of thin air. It's you're recreating the episode.
Damn,
More of that
Alaric.
LARPing. It's not
Yeah.
cosplay
LARPing.
anymore, folks. Now it's LARP.
Wow.
It's such a brilliant episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love
So
it.
the display is going to be 320 by 240. Yep.
That's amazing, dude. Good.
So pretty.
It doesn't come with stone knives and bearskin, so.
Yeah. Gotta use that quote all the time. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, and he deploys it at the perfect moment every single time. Clobby has
Yeah.
great comedic timing.
Bear kids. I love that episode. Who doesn't love it? I mean, except for Cockney. We're going to have it out about, he's gone already. Cockney, you'll get to you. We're going to have it out about that one, buddy.
I guess this is just the people working on the tricorder.
Hello, Andrew Stockdale. Good job. Hello, James Thomas. Good job.
I'm glad his name isn't John Thomas. That would be a joke. John Thomas? I'm sorry.
Hello, Thomas Wong or
Thomas
Wang,
Wong.
however you want to say it. Great job.
Well done, sir. Well done, all of you.
Well,
And you're
hello
cute.
there, cutie. Charlotte
You're,
Pegram.
Wow, you're super cute. I don't get whatever you did on the project. I'm glad you were there.
I want to get
She's a
all these
nerd
people-
or a geek.
these-
Look at this, fan liaison and customer support. So you have to find problems with the products if you'd like to speak with Charlotte.
I've had no problem with speaking with Charlotte.
Are they all going to get free tricorders? Yeah.
Good job, Richard. And Chris.
And Chris. And
Good
Chris.
job,
All you
team.
guys. Good job, guys. Well done. Well done indeed.
So there's a small crew, making this, it's a lot of work. So this is the first reveal. Star Trek London 2021.
Oh,
Wow.
55-year mission. And here we are. I wonder if R&B has got one of these on order.
Probably.
he's the toy king. That guy is like a geek. He's just, I don't know where he gets
He probably
the space.
does.
Does he also have a catacomb? Is he also digging out his basement?
He's got a lot of
creating
stuff, yeah.
catacombs?
I know he's got a lot of stuff. He wants to get rid of all of his comics.
Oh,
Why?
he does, yeah?
He doesn't like having all those. He's got tons and tons of a collection. He doesn't like having the boxes in there anymore.
Wow.
Oh, because so he can have more action figures, probably. He's more into the hot toys
He doesn't
now.
want them anymore. That's what he said once.
Oh my goodness. Is he going to sell them?
I'm sure he probably. Well, if he that's one thing to say. I want to get rid of my comics. Selling them is a lot tougher, but he can do it. He can afford to, but he's going to have to pay somebody to handle that for him because he don't have the time of the day. I know he's been collecting for a long time, and he collected. There was a time because I've heard him talk, and even about how much he collected in the 80s and 90s, and even after that, and he buys so much crap that I would never buy. But so he buys so much, he must have 90 or 300 long boxes somewhere. Or I'm just kidding. I don't know how many. That's just me throwing that out there. I don't know, but you must have tons of long boxes out there, and how much time it would take to sell all that.
Captain, does Gary know RMB?
Oh yeah, they're friendly.
Because isn't Gary going to be opening up a comic book shop where he's going to sell classic comics? Maybe he could just bulk sell it to Gary.
Well, I'm sure I'm sure that if it comes down to that, and he does want to sell them, that's what I would do with them. I get
Yeah.
Gary to sell them for me if I were him.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
Gary to sell them. That's the best way to do it. And that's really nice. That would be I'm sorry, I'm turning into a communications and technology person here right on air, but wouldn't it be great if Gary booked Robert for his open house or booked
I'm
Robert for
sure.
an appearance?
You never know. He could look. That's if Robert really wants to sell. I've heard him say that a couple of times. I mean, a lot of people say
Sometimes
that. Like,
people say
I
that.
gotta
Yeah.
get rid of all these damn comics, but man, it's a whole other task to have to do it.
Do geeks ever get rid of their stuff? I need to know,
Oh yeah,
gentlemen.
I did.
Is it possible?
I have.
Not my case.
I've got rid. I don't have it anywhere near the comic collection I used to have because I had to get rid of a bunch of it for years. Because usually, like Gary will tell you, he started since he's lost his comic shop years ago. It's when he started buying stuff back again. When you have a comic shop, you always end up selling it in your damn shop and not keeping a whole lot of it. And when you're not in the business, then you start to want those comics again.
Yeah.
I think Gary, like I said, Gary's got a gigantic collection right now. But a lot of times you'll sell a bunch of your stuff, and that's not across the board everywhere. But I sold a bunch of mine, and what I actually stopped. I have some friends. You saw one of my friends who was on one night, hardcore collectors. But I stopped being one of those a long time ago, being a completist. And Mark will tell you it's tough to be a completist.
It's tough. Yeah.
I looked at my collection. This was after I got out of the business for like the second or third time, and I said, you know what? Right here, I'm sick of having things in this collection I don't like, all this crap. So I'm gonna separate the wheat from the chaff. I just want to have things in there that I like, and crap that I don't like, I'm not gonna have long runs of garbage. And I did that, and I made that break because I just got rid of everything. And of course, unfortunately, years later, I got in hard times and had to sell my thing that I didn't want to sell, my most prized collection, the Fantastic Four. And that's tragic. But after that, I just I don't collect like that. I didn't collect like I used to. I would just buy something if I wanted to read it. I would not buy just to be buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, and another,
It makes me sad though, because like you're a professional curator. I don't know. I'm a little heartbroken that you don't have your comic book shop anymore. I sure wish that you did,
that
because
was the 80s.
out of anybody who I know who deserves to have that little bit of space where people can go and speak to an actual expert about these things, I think of you. And I think if you lived in my area, man, I'd be at your comic book shop every
Yeah.
weekend.
Thanks.
Talking to you. I would, I'd be trying to finish my Gold Key comic collection. Something you introduced me to, by the way, because I didn't have a clue. And it makes me a little sad because I want you to have that.
I don't know if I would take a comic shop if you gave it to me at this point, but maybe I'm just speaking from the new standpoint perspective, like what, just opening up selling old ones. I don't know. I could probably do that, I guess.
That's what Gary's doing. It's very smart, isn't it? What Gary has decided to do.
A lot of people are doing that because comic shops have been dropping like flies over the past couple of years.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a fun part of, that's why I love meeting all you guys and making all these friends on YouTube. Was half the time you go to the comic book shop, you'd spend like an hour there, hanging out with everyone, just talking comics and art, and then sometimes you get into politics too, and movies and Marvel and things like that. Or back in the day, it was more arguing about how could you not like Ghostbusters 2? I think Ghostbusters 2 is an abomination. That kind of argument.
Yeah.
Versus
you'd argue about good geek stuff or bad geek stuff.
Good geek stuff.
You would argue, but that's all. We didn't have anything. It was all in good fun.
Yeah, and you'd hang out there for forever. Like my dad. I worked with my dad, so it's like, why was your lunch break so long? You're gone for an hour for lunch. Like, well, I'll be here later tonight. But I had my routine. Like every Wednesday was, I'd order my Chinese food ahead of time, go pick it up, and I'd grab my Chinese, the lunch and my comics, and then head back and have my Chinese food and order extra for dinner.
Why'd you have to bring up Chinese food?
There you go. I want some.
I have a question before we go any further, because I'm afraid that he's left, and Clubby, maybe you could ask.
Sure.
May I please ask Mr. Parrish if he is still in the chat? Mr. Parrish?
He was going to bed, I think.
Yeah.
Has he gone to bed? Can you please ask him how long he would recommend I leave my battery in before I take it out?
On which thing?
Just on all of the Diamond Select.
Okay.
He was talking about it in the chat. I guess he
Oh.
does some repairs on that sort of thing. So I'd like to know, since he's seen so many of the replicas, like the props, I would like to know what his recommendation for, fish the battery out. I need to know. So
Mark will probably know.
Well,
that.
yeah. So what you should do is change them at least every year, I would say, or just
Oh, really?
check them. And most of my toys, I take all the batteries out and I never store them with the batteries.
What?
Or what I'll
Every year?
or what I would do is I would buy the premium lithium batteries, the really good high quality batteries.
Yeah.
They can get I think it's Panasonic makes them. Do I have one lying around? But they're more expensive, but they're less prone to leaking. But I've had, and then if God forbid it does leak, you can use vinegar. You can soak, depending on what the part is, but you can soak them in vinegar. Is a great
husband
natural.
to do that. I've had a couple of exploded batteries and things, and he's brought things back to life. But I certainly don't want that to happen to my props. So you're recommending a year,
Max,
Mark.
yeah, and then you can put on your calendar too, like change batteries. Like for our lathe at work, if the battery goes bad, you lose all the programming. So I have like on my calendar, it's like I have to do it now. It's like it's like they say to change, your smoke detector batteries with daylight savings time. So when it's exploded, you've waited too long, and you're like, oh, do I have to throw these good batteries out? But normally, what I do, like some of these toys, I'm now I've been pulling them out more often and playing with them. But
hey, Zax.
Hey, Zax.
Go ahead.
Hey, Zax. Yep. So I would say, the lithium batteries you can buy AA's or AAA's. They're a little bit more money, but they last longer. And I found
I like the idea of changing it on a specific day because I begin rewatching. I begin my chronological rewatch on January 1st. It's also when I change my TOS calendar. So I really like that because then I'll just remember, okay, well, this is the day I'll change the batteries. So in January, I'm going to change out all my batteries.
Yes, you
Thanks,
just change
Mark.
them out. And then you're safe, and then you could use them.
And no dollar store batteries.
Oh no, you got to buy the good, only the good lithium batteries, and my good Star Trek stuff.
Yeah,
and you could use those batteries. You take them out, like use them in a flashlight if you wanted, or
okay.
I've been getting those Dollar Star ones for my mouse.
I appreciate your expertise. Thank you so much. My replica props. Thank you.
Yeah, because I have a ton of the spaceships, of course. So when I had to store them, I pulled all the batteries out of the spaceships, and once in a while you forget, and then when something explodes, you're like, oh, and then it corrodes everything too. So,
Mark, I haven't changed my TNG phaser for maybe 2 or 3 years. I think. It's
my God, you pick on me for dusting. I'm gonna tell you better change your batteries.
Exactly. It's time for you to kick my ass.
Yeah.
I haven't changed any of my batteries or any of my toys ever. So there you go.
Oh,
okay. I have a you have that patent one. I have one that I forgot which line. It's not Hot Toys or maybe I can't remember which one. I have the Arlie Ermy, from the toy from of the Sarge from Full Metal Jacket with and he talks.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's got all the sayings and stuff from the movie and everything. And I haven't changed that. The only finally doesn't talk anymore because the battery's down. But those little ones don't. Those little batteries, you got to change them, but it hasn't gotten.
Are there watch batteries or?
Probably a little tiny one.
Those usually don't explode. It
requires
as
surgery
much,
to get those things out of there.
They're a pain. Yeah, they're a real pain.
I'm going to have my husband do it because he has his micro screwdriver set. He's going to have to do it because I haven't changed the batteries in my bobbleheads, which I believe take those watch battery thingies. I haven't done it in like 5 years. And those are TOS bobbleheads. Like they're hard to get. And I have Spock and Kirk. I need to get to work or... Oh, I am so ashamed, Mark. I'm so
my
ashamed.
God, I can't believe this. You're so bad with your batteries. Battery shaming, yeah.
Battery shaming, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, you don't change your batteries?
That's horrible.
The horror. But it is so depressing
anyway?
when if you have had a couple of things, like I had a phaser where the batteries went in the damn thing. It was like, oh my God. Oh, I was so mad. So this is actually, Clobberin Times is obviously the Kirby expert, but they're actually going to have an exhibit in New York City from
Wow.
November 11th to 16th.
Oh my goodness!
You can see
it.
all the Kirby, and I missed them at the comic book NYCC, and I was looking under Kirby to try to find which place it would be at, and I was rushing around. They had him listed under Jack Kirby. Shouldn't it be listed under K?
Yeah.
Well, no. Help me out here.
Yes,
Cal.
it should. Yes, it should be under Kirby. But
I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention. So this is like, because I'm thinking about something else. I do apologize.
Okay.
It's the 11th of November to the 16th.
Today,
Yep.
so
in New York City, like a pop-up exhibit.
Damn it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And how much does it cost to go from Louisiana to New York City? Can we crowdfund a ticket?
Too much.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's it's getting close to Thanksgiving time. So let's see, what's the cost of the ticket? I'm sure it's not expensive.
What's the cost of the ticket?
Oh, Kirby at War screening, November. Oh, it was today.
I've already seen that.
Yep. But then they probably would have had.
Is this a weekend
like
thing?
a lecture? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been fun to see in November.
So what's
11th.
happening on the 12th?
Well, I guess I want to say they had pictures. I want to show the pictures of the exhibit. Let's see. Opening reception, November 12th.
Lord of Light with Barry Geller and Mike Royer. Free ticket.
Oh, Mike
event.
Royer. Wow.
Jack Kirby live recording with special guests. Ticketed event. Yeah, Canadian Spider-Man. I'm in for $20 too.
Is he here? Canadian Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
Canadian
love
Spider-Man.
you. Welcome,
Believe me, not a
sweetheart.
chance in hell would I be able to go, so don't worry about it.
Oh, you can't?
Oh, no way.
Oh, damn it.
If I had a year notice, I couldn't go. Well, trust me.
Damn
Canadian
it.
Spidey, what's up? But I do appreciate the kind words, but don't worry about it.
A great video of the day, Canadian Spider-Man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we got to put his link in the chat. But he had a nice video about being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man as he was chopping wood. Don't get Canadian Spider-Man angry, but no, it was a really nice video. Yep,
he's a sweetheart of a man. He lives on the other side of the mountains. I'm on one side of the mountains. He's on the other. Nice to see you, sweetheart.
I have some reservations with the Kirby Museum, but I would go to this in a heartbeat if I were close enough. But believe me, if I had a year to prepare, I wouldn't be able to go to this.
What's this? We're popping up. Oh, that's the announcement.
Well, they're going to start here. Yep. So it started today. Yep. So they're going to, they screened Kirby at War today. Oh, we could listen to the podcast at least. You could listen online.
Yeah, I do. I listen to a lot of I watch a lot of their videos in the Kirby Museum and podcasts and stuff. So they were at the damn con, but
I missed them. I couldn't find them. And actually, they changed booths. So they said booth 2867. And then when I looked in my con guide, and I was remember I called you. I was trying to find out what they were under, and I was asking people, "Where's the Kirby Museum?" So I'm looking in the guide, and of course I was looking at K for Kirby, and stupid me. And it looked for J for Jack. So then they had the number. I missed them. I guess it's Jack.
Yeah,
Kirby
I guess they are the
J.
Jack Kirby Museum. Yes.
Yeah, instead of K. I'm like, list them under K too.
Damn you.
Damn it.
It should be the surname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they scan the art there for you too. So they're trying to preserve all his original art.
Well,
and then they did a walking tour, I guess, in New York. This was in August. It's since passed.
104. My God.
So,
I'm so upset that we can't send Clobby to this. I'd love to send him to something like this.
Believe me, if it were possible, there was something I would go to. But no, that's okay. I've missed so much. Oh no, I forgot that story about Steve Sherman. That's a damn shame. He was a good dude. He was with Jet for a long time. I can't believe he died too damn young. But if Mike Royer got anywhere closer to a convention, I think he was in Dallas and I didn't get a chance to go a couple years back, but I would definitely go meet him.
Canadian Spider-Man. I've been busy with firewood and acquiring foodstuffs, solar chargers, and electrical chainsaws make me giddy laughing out loud. What is going on with you, Canadian Spider-Man?
Hell? What in the hell are you talking about?
Well, I guess if you got to be off the grid, you got to be prepared, right? It's like
Yes.
Canadian Spider-Man's
Is he going off
as a
grid?
scout too, right? No, but if you're in where you live, I guess you've got to be ready if the power goes out or.
Oh yeah, but he's already ready for that. But I
Yeah.
wonder why he's shopping. Well, maybe he'll tell us in the chat. Why are you shopping,
Can you
sweetheart?
click on any of these pictures?
Fun to. Yeah, let's see if these.
The black and white one there, if you would, Streetwise or Streets. Yeah. You know what that is right there? That's Kirby drawing what his life was like as a kid, where he grew up as a very, very young boy. That's autobiographical art. He does good about his life down in Hell's Kitchen.
I was gonna guess that was Hell's Kitchen. It's beautiful.
Yep. And that's what his life was like as a tough young kid growing up in a tough part. Yeah.
Selling stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was when he was Jakob Kurtzberg, actually, way before he became Jack Kirby. Oh my goodness. Wow, I love it. I love a Kirby machine. And I love Kirby Fire and Kirby Crackle in the background. Oh my goodness. What else they got there? Yeah.
Go
home. Yancey Street. Yeah.
This is very embarrassing.
What an embarrassing development. Simon and Kirby, Newsboy Legion. Yep. There you go. That's all there is. Cool.
Sorry for the crinkling in the background. A certain person I know just walked through the door and presented me with a giant Whopper.
Whoa.
Like a hamburger.
A Whopper of a Whopper.
Whopper of a Whopper. I just discovered Whoppers. I didn't have a Whopper until just, I think, last year. And I was like, this is really good.
I want that shirt.
You like that shirt?
Jeez.
What size?
I already bought a shirt for them though. Well,
it looks nice. Yeah, and they were at the con selling these, and I missed them. I would have bought one. I didn't buy a T-shirt this time. I would have bought that one too.
I love that Lords of Light Godhead shirt up there. Jesus. Yeah, again, the Lords of Light, and it refers to in the late 70s, Kirby worked with the science fiction author Roger Zelazny. They were actually thinking of designing a theme park a la Disney called Science Fiction Land. He designed it. And can you imagine a Kirby designed theme park if that only happened? Oh my God.
Wow.
It would have been fantastic. Nice. Look at those shirts.
Kirby Doom. King Doom, yep.
Can I sub to you? Sub to who? Canadian? Oh, yeah. Oh, to Hungry Boy. Well, look at that. There's Jack.
Those are cool, yep.
I got one that did. It's just a white shirt with the words Jack, just the name Jack Kirby on it with a bunch of Kirby and black and white Kirby energy behind it.
That's cool. They don't
what are the sizes?
Zoom in, but
Use the
nice.
pull down menu.
Oh,
what are the sizes?
They don't have my size. I trust me.
Oh, they don't have your size?
Oh,
damn it.
They don't have 55X. Are you kidding me?
Some of these go to 3X. Let's see, 2X.
Yeah. Don't worry
and hey, these are for comic book lovers. They should make them big.
Yeah,
3XL. Right? We're joking, right? Yeah.
No, it's true.
We're reading comics. We don't have time to exercise. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just be honest. I mean, it's a market
well, this
there.
One goes
to
4XL. Yeah.
I remember those days when I was a tiny lad that could fit into a 4XL, and a tiny lad that could fit into a 2XL. I said, and a tiny lad that could fit a 1XL. So it was so long ago. No, anyway. But yes, that would have been nice to go to. Thanks for telling me about it. What a pal. Telling me about something I can't get. That's nice.
Sorry,
that's Mark for you. He
that's
brings
revenge.
out his fancy schmancy tricorder, and then the Kirby convention, and he does this.
Right. It's revenge for us keeping him up so late, Dan, because he said he was going to try to get some sleep. That's what it is. You got to be damn tired, dude. You're probably at that point where you're too tired to sleep.
This talk is but that's what happens when you stay up 24 hours plus. Then you hit like in the middle of the night, you hit the wall, and then after a while you're just up and your body adjusts. So I did sleep like 3 or 4 hours, but then my phone started ringing.
Yeah, when you're young, you could do that with fewer repercussions. Back in we used to go to cons 2 or 3 or 4 hours away, and we didn't want to spend any money on hotel rooms. We would sleep in the video back before they had a lot of when video wasn't quite so available or movies, so they had these all-night video rooms in these big rooms in these hotels with the cons. So we just screw it. We go sleep on the chairs in the video rooms when we get tired. Your Muslim uncle. Hello there, my friend. Eric K, buddy, what's up?
Hey,
Eric K.
Hope you're feeling well, man. Hope you're doing
Hi,
better.
your Muslim uncle. Hi, Eric. Yeah, Phantom Outsider. I'm actually going to steal that. That is what I'm going to call it from now on. Whenever I'm looking for a T-shirt for him, I'm just going to say, do they have it in thing size?
There you go. I want to show you something. Since someone is eating and making us hungry.
Oh, yeah.
We should have some
What you
revenge.
got?
All right.
Can you tell that I'm eating? I'm so sorry.
No, you told us, remember? You said you got a Whopper. Yeah. Go ahead and eat, by the way.
Well, Mark brought up the Chinese food.
I want to show you
my
something.
routine.
All the ills of the world can be solved with Hostess fruit pies. And
oh, yeah, that's right.
This is the new issue of what did Back Issue Magazine. Let's see here.
Clobby, who
Yes.
is that little person? Because I actually remember that little person from comics. Could we go back to the previous page?
We got to find it. Where
that looked like Mike Wallace from. Can
Probably
we go
was.
back to the Okay, so I used to read the comic with the thing in the middle of it when I was little.
Who are you talking? Okay, who's who? What do you mean?
Right above the apple pie. What is that?
The little girl?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who she is because she wasn't in a Marvel or DC comic. I can tell you that because I would know who that is.
I remember that comic.
If D-Bud was here, I know he could probably get it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure what comics this is. But this is two issues ago in this. Do you remember? Anyone remembers the Hostess ads in Marvel and DC comics and in the others? There was no problem.
Those.
There's no problem in the world that could not be solved by Hostess Twinkies or fruit pies.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, what you got there?
And you'd save up. You'd save up 30 cents, right, to try to get your Hostess fruit pie, right? You know, it was 30 cents you had to come up with. You'd try to bum some loose change, right?
Yep. And then, oh my goodness, there's a Wonder Woman. When the Marvel ones were the ones I remember the most, but DC did it too. Who wants a Hostess fruit pie, Hostess cupcakes? There's a Green Lantern one.
Canadian Spider-Man, that's an incredibly kind thing to say. And I feel the exact same way about you. Thank you very much. It's very, very sweet.
Oh, thank you, man.
You're a very good friend, Clobby and I, to this channel, to everyone in this community. You truly are a wonderful man. Thank you so much.
This one's for you, Canadian Spider-Man.
There you go.
Spider-Man and Hostess Twinkies. I mean, these little strips were just hilarious because if you were a little kid, you thought, well, you could solve all the world's problems with a superhero and some Hostess fruit pies. Look at this.
Well, of course, if Spidey ate too many Hostess fruit pies, the web line might break. Yeah. That's why I'm not a web slinger.
I was going to kill you, Spider-Man, but I'll take those Twinkies instead. Let's see here. Hot stuff. This would be for D-Bud. He liked that comic. He used to buy some of those. Oh my God, look at these things. Archie. I like the Marvel ones. Oh, there's some DC ones.
Eric, I love you.
What did he say?
Clobby's love of Wesley.
Well, okay, I just have to admit it. I do love Wesley, especially when he's not in an episode. Those are my favorite. I think I like him most when he's not in an episode. I mean, that's really.
How soon is he leaving? Sense. I forget which episode.
I think we got a while.
He's in the fourth season too. The Borg didn't get him.
Yes.
Oh God.
Oh God, here's some of my favorite ones. The Marvel ones are the Hulk one, Spider-Man, Captain America, Daredevil. Oh man, I love these ads. This makes me want to host his fruit pies.
Yeah.
When I go buy my comics, look, these ads work, dude, because I'd go by and get my Slurpee cup, get my comics to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I would want the now they
I'd
don't
buy
have.
'em.
I like the blueberry Hostess.
You like
Which one did you
blueberry?
like?
I was always apple. I was always apple.
Blueberry's
apple?
my favorite.
I love the blueberry Hostess pie. Yeah.
Did they have raspberry too, or
I don't know, but I don't see a blueberry.
what
on
were the
this one, damn it.
flavors? What were the flavors? We had
Well, on
obviously
here,
the peach.
on here, it's just well, here all we see is apple, lemon, and cherry.
Okay,
and
makes
that's-
sense. Yeah, they wouldn't have that many. But
Wow, they
should
got a
have had
checklist
blueberry.
of all the ones they did. So there we go. I love
Wow.
Back Issue Magazine. This magazine makes me happy. This is what I do with my folks. I read these damn magazines. This issue's all about. It goes into the Bronze Age, and it goes all about. Oh, well, that was cool. A couple more comics, dude.
I love Popeye.
Oh, there we go. Let's Popeye. Let's go back to Popeye. Oh, yum, 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 yum. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong cities, and it's because I eat me spinach because I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. All right, sorry. Couldn't help it, but yes, I do love Popeye.
Has anyone
You
ever
That
burned
was
their tongue off
excellent.
on
I really enjoyed that.
Oh, come on.
on the McDonald's apple pie? Anyone ever burned themselves pretty
Yes.
badly?
Did you sue him?
Just so I should have, yeah.
Did you
Scuba
remember
Pete
the
Mom's
calls
like,
it. What does
Mom-
Scuba Pete call the inside of really hot things when the outside's cool but the inside's super hot? I think he calls it liquid hot magma or something like that.
Well, a woman sued McDonald's for the freaking hot coffee.
Yep.
There's your Muslim uncle. You're too kind. Thank you so much for that. I
Oh,
appreciate you.
wow.
Very sorry about your
1999
father.
suit.
Yep.
Let's see. This is a charitable gift on behalf of my recently departed father. Oh my goodness. Giving food, water, charity, gives blessings to those who receive and those it's given on behalf of Heavenly Cherry for Dad. Big condolences on that. Your Muslim uncle. I had not known about that. I don't know how recent that was, but thank you so much. And as they say, as you say, I know peace be on you and him and your whole family. And I'm so sorry about that. And you are too kind. You never have to do anything like that. Just having you here is gift enough. And I want to thank you for that. And we appreciate you. And it's always great to see you pop in, sir. Thank you.
Very sorry for your loss.
Absolutely, sir. And we always just love seeing you pop in, man, because I know you're probably dealing with all kind of stuff out there, so
that's tough. Yeah, it's very tough. Yep. So very sorry about that. And but it's true, actually. Giving, it's a, the people say it's a cliche, but I mean, some of the best. As much as I love stuff, it's some of the best memories are like giving gifts to good friends or helping a friend out, and then they appreciate it. It doesn't even have to be a monetary gift. Sometimes just having someone show up to help you out or do something. Like I was a new kid at school, and ended up being one of my best friends. Like he knocked on the door. He's like, "Well, I figured you didn't know anyone, so I just wanted to see if you wanted to hang out or hang out today." And I was like, "Wow, that was so nice, for someone to do that." So we appreciate that and hope hope for all the best. It's tough times, I know, but sometimes doing things like that really help you out and make you feel better. Yep.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. This is another one for Raquel here. Pom Pom's Candy. Look, Tarzan. I know you love Tarzan.
I do love Tarzan.
Yeah. And that's a Joe Kubert Tarzan right there. And so I love that they do issues like this. They just focus on different aspects of the Bronze Age of comics. And it's just look how fun comics were. I never saw this. And since I only bought Marvel and DC, I never saw these other fruit. Oh, there's Blueberry. Look right there, Roadrunner and Coyote. There's my Blueberry Hostess fruit pie right there.
There really aren't any other flavors. There's just blueberry.
That's the only one you like?
Yep. I don't mind cherry, but I don't want to eat the other ones. Just the blueberry.
I got the lemon one when I couldn't get the other, which I don't know. That sounds terrible, but it's what I get picked on for not thinking lemon should be in tea. I have to always, when I'm at a restaurant, a sweet tea with no lemon, and I have to say that no lemon because they put lemon automatically.
And they
And
put too much in too.
And what I'm weird about is like if I get like the Nest tea or whatever with the lemon flavor, I don't care. I don't mind it. But I don't want lemon. Tea doesn't need lemon, not iced tea.
I agree. You know
So
what? I
you do
put
it
a
too,
little.
huh?
I put a little bit of orange juice in my iced tea, like just a
What
teeny
in
bit.
the hell are you saying? Water
Yeah,
juice.
yeah, like like a couple not very little. You can
What the
overdo
hell?
the orange juice. And that
Orange
was my
juice?
aunt's secret for making lemonade. She'd put like a little bit of orange juice in it. You can't have a lot. It's got to be just because I
What you
drink it
guys do to
unsweetened.
iced tea is just crazy.
I
Like
love iced tea.
American iced tea is nuts.
It is. I love
The
Arizona
first time
iced tea. I love it.
the first time I had sweet tea, like real sweet tea, I was like, oh my god, this is unbelievable. How much sugar is in this? And can I have another glass?
The stuff that I see you guys
Yeah.
drink on the streams, like when you have like a 4 liter of the tea and it's mixed with something. I think there's in the South, I think it is, but I could be wrong. I know nothing of this. But apparently they mix lemonade with iced tea, sweet tea, and they put that together and you can
Yep.
buy it in a jug at the store. Hey,
Arnold
there's
Palmer.
Richie Rich.
Arnold Palmer.
Oh yeah, you like
Invented
Richie
that.
Rich?
Well,
You like
it's not
Richie
that
Rich?
I like Richie Rich. It's just like that was what they had at the secondhand store. So if you walk into the secondhand store when you were young and you wanted to read comics, they had a spinner rack in the used clothing store
Oh,
or the
nice.
place. Yeah, and you could go in there and you could pick whatever you wanted. So they always had the Richie Rich ones. So I would buy them and I would read them. I would always read the digest.
Oh yeah. They were
But
huge.
I was quite small when I was doing that, and my first brush with Tarzan was, I believe it was grade 4, might have been grade 5, but I believe
Nice.
it was grade 4. A teacher
Wow.
read the original novel to us,
Oh my
and then
goodness.
after that I was hooked. So I was a part of the reading log club, and then I just read whatever said Tarzan on it at our local library in our school.
That's controversial these days. That original novel of Tarzan, but you know.
Yeah,
This is the
it's a novel.
donkeys.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a
Sorry.
novel from my childhood, and I actually don't have a copy right now. I would like to. Here's some nerd for you that geeks can totally relate to. I would love to get a copy from the '80s, from when I was first exposed to Tarzan. I would love
I'll
to
see if I
get
can
it.
get you one with a Neil Adams cover. Those are the best covers of Tarzan novels.
I just absolutely fascinated me it for a while in my childhood because of reading those books. I wanted to become an archaeologist. I wanted to go away and see the falls in Victoria, and of course I'm talking about on the African continent. And I wanted to go and see the Big Five, and I was so fascinated by the jungle and with travel, and it's just those novels were amazing for kids. They were just amazing.
It takes you to another world, right? I mean,
Yeah, and it's a world that you wouldn't like. It's a world you can't fathom on your own. Like, I was so young, it must have been grade 4. But after reading the Tarzan novels, I wound up starting to read National Geographic. I just couldn't stop myself. I found myself checking out National Geographic after National Geographic because I just wanted to see all of these places and all of the things that lived there. So it's a very, very inspiring novel that I think all children should read. Every child should
Oh,
read
it's been
Tarzan.
controversial by idiots, of course, because it's a great book. But yeah, it's but yeah, I'll see what I can do. I love the Neil Adams covers on Tarzan books. Hello there, Retro. What's up, brother?
Hey,
Hey,
RD,
Retro.
nice to see you.
Elagabulla's popped in. Are any of you familiar with the DC Comics hotline? Got to be old.
Hotline?
Yep, they had a phone number.
Oh, for Robin?
No, that was just a no.
Oh, just
They
a
had a
one-off.
phone number you could call to find out about the DC Comics.
No, that's cool.
I can't believe this. I haven't got a chance to read this issue yet. This is what I do. I read these stupid magazines about comics, and I love all this silly comics history stuff.
Captain, I beg your pardon. Please
Yes.
excuse me. John's going to bed.
John, well, we're about to head out. Yeah, so we'll get out of here. But thank you so much, John, for hanging out with us. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We've been here. Look how long we've been here. Look at this, dude. And all Mark's fault, of course, but
It's my fault. Yep.
100% it's Mark's fault. It's
Yeah, always
always
blame
Mark's
Mark.
fault.
Blame Mark.
Always
Yep.
always blame the chief engineer. And
Yeah.
by the way, Mark, that information you were just showing is very similar to the original tricorder guts. You were showing one of those recorders, but not the black style that I grew up with.
Okay.
But the silver style. Did you notice that? It was listed in that comic in the advertisement.
Yeah, it's very similar, and they also had a Star Trek. You know, kind of like had the phaser there, the blue. They actually had a tape recorder, like a tricorder cassette recorder that was blue that you could buy too, which is really expensive now. I never got that one, but yeah. So, you know, with props and things, you kind of take something that's practical and gut it, or try to repurpose it, and so you save money, right? I mean, you've got money to spend on TV shows, and also to save time too, right? So to make something from scratch is a lot tougher. Yep.
And an unintended consequence, which is to spark innovation. So rather than rather than think you have to invent a whole new thing, you take a technology that already exists and you sort of say to yourself, what could we do with this to make this to do more? It should do more. So that's the thing that I love about it, sparks innovation. And Eric K says, I love the fact that Raquel and I used to love just picking up an encyclopedia and reading it. And he says, I spent countless hours reading my encyclopedias. I did too. I just absolutely loved it. I could stand in the library for hours, and I used to have to stand on the stool because they would leave the very large, very expensive ones out on what looked like a lectern. That's where you would
that's right. Yeah.
The librarian would make you take it to the lectern. I would put it on the
lectern. Up the spine. Yep.
That's right. So you wouldn't screw up the book. So I used to stand on the little stool in front of the encyclopedia lectern, and I would just read them from cover to cover. And believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this on air. I can't believe I'm saying this in public. But I used to take notes.
On the encyclopedia?
Yeah. Wow. Like when I discovered pandas, oh my goodness, I wrote like a 50-page essay on pandas alone, because I was just like, look at the pandas. And then I went over and I got the National Geographic, and I was cross-referencing the information in the encyclopedia with the National Geographic. And yeah, Eric K., I love that you're like that. You're such a good friend. And yeah, it's something that I totally feel with all of my heart. I totally agree with you. It was such a wondrous thing when we didn't have an internet, and that's how we learned. It's just, yeah.
My favorite was the dinosaurs part of the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
I always couldn't get off of that page. I mean, just mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, with the encyclopedias I used to wear we had. It's funny. Every household had those. Imagine that, huh?
Well, we were too poor to afford them. I asked for them, but we were far too poor to be able to afford them. Having between $400 to $2,000 for books was just not possible when I was growing up. But I certainly did have a grand love affair with the ones in my school library, and it's
I don't know how we had a set of them, but I know we had some of those, and I used to love it. But of course, the library was where I loved to go. That's how I fell in love with football, not just watching it on TV. All the football books in there.
That's right.
Yep. 5 and 6 years old.
Ton of books. Oh, and Phantom is saying, tell Raquel the character she saw was Wendy the Good Witch from Casper Harvey Comics.
Thank you.
Yeah. That sounds familiar, because I was thinking, is that Wendy from? Well, I wasn't thinking, is that Wendy? I was thinking, is that little person from the Casper comics? Because, like I said, I had this fleeting relationship with digests from the local secondhand store, and from the church basement. I think the St. Vincent de Paul's had those old comics in the digest, and you could get them. Sometimes they would even give them free to you if you bought clothes. So yeah, those were very interesting growing up.
I never looked at those. I was just always looking at the superhero stuff and the, but so yeah, but I did see them, and I turned my nose up at them much to D Bud's chagrin because D Bud Martin liked those Harvey's and those Archie comics, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, your Muslim uncle again, sir. Well, before we get out of here, like you were saying earlier, we appreciate the nice words and the donation and everything, and just so sorry for your loss, buddy. But I really am touched by what you said about the whole community thing here.
Yeah.
I love this community that we have here, that we've all of us have put together, and just could hang with you all. Like I hung last night with all of you, just by myself, hanging out with a great, gigantic crowd, and it was just amazing, a lot of fun, and you guys were fantastic. And just doing this with my two best buddies, it's fantastic, and just having you all there, and Clobby'S Clubhouse is here as long as these two want to do it with me. So,
oh, Clobby, I love you so much, and
thank you. Yep.
Your Muslim uncle. I find it difficult to talk to you because it almost makes me want to burst out crying. I'm trying not to cry here, but I cannot express my profound sadness for what is happening to you and your family, and I fully understand that kind of loss, and I wish we didn't have to experience that, and I know that you're going to miss your dad a lot, and so and it's going to be hard for your family, and I just want you to know that all of us here, we all support you, and I am sending you the biggest, warmest hug for every single person in your family as you work through this profoundly difficult time, this emotional time, and I just want you to know that we're here to support you, and we're here to listen.
Absolutely, and thank you all so much for being here tonight. It's just amazing. Thank you, Darius. You the man, buddy. That's good to see you. Your Muslim uncle. Peace be upon you and your family and your wonderful father. And thank you so much. Let's see, Canadian Spider-Man as well. Thank you for being here, my brother Darius. Eric K, buddy. Always great to see you. Zax, thank you for being here with us tonight.
Love you, Zach.
Indeed, what a great crowd. Phantom Outsider, my brother, always bringing it. Goodness, thank you, man. Let's see here. Who else was here? Kal-El, buddy, thank you so much. Jill, Anti-Hero Jill, we love you, and we really appreciate you so much. Absolutely. And Retro Dickie, buddy, it's good to see you, man. He's up and moving around early over there. Let's see who else was here. I can't. It didn't go too far back, but John had to run. I think we had two Johns here. Hail to both Johns. Thank you both for being here. And Hungry Boy Brother, always appreciate seeing you, man. You've become a great friend of the show.
Yeah,
and it's just great. And Lagabalas had to run, but he run in and said hello and hail to Lagabalas.
Yeah,
I don't get that name right one of these days.
It's tough. Some of these names are tough. We love them, especially when you're trying to say it, and then you don't want to botch someone's name. Like
that's the thing. Or you could just leave it to me, like what happened with Snortapoopus. That's how Snortapoopus wound up with his ridiculous call out, is because his name was so silly that you were like, "What? Oh, how do I say this again?" It's very difficult because we have to deal with so many names that are made up and or they're compounds or they're multiple compounds. And so I think you do a wonderful job, Clobby. I love you. I think you do an absolutely marvelous job of all of these internet handles. But Alagabalus.
Yeah, well, thank you. And yes, Darth Haster, what's up, buddy? Good to see you there. And yeah, we're still running. Just about to get out of here. Zax, the Hulk villain. Thank you. PJ was here for Moreville Nation. PJ, I think he probably had to run, but we appreciate PJ popping in. And Gap Stargate, best to him on this channel. And Sherry is out there somewhere. I think it was earlier. We love you, Sherry, the lovely Sherry. It's always a pleasure. And if we miss anyone else, everyone just blame me because I'm old and senile and I forget everything. It's the way it goes.
No, you're terrific. And Anti-Derivative Jill has raised a good point in the chat. Before we go, I would just like to echo and amplify my fellow nerdy nerd. She says, thank you for sharing your beautiful items, Mark D with a C. And Mark D with a C, I just, you always have all of these interesting and wonderful rabbit holes that we enter, and we just have such a great time. And you have such a wonderful and genuine interest in all of these wonderful things. And I completely agree with Anti-Derivative Jill. What a great deep dive you did tonight, and showed us some really spectacular stuff that sparked so much interesting conversation and perhaps inspired people to spend too much money. You are enabling.
Enabling.
I'm sending you a kick to the shins.
Enabler. Yeah,
That's what I'm here for, right? Yep. But thank you for those sentiments. Yeah, just always love being able to share these things so everyone can see them. So it's
we
makes
appreciate you
feel
so
good
much. It's
when you
just
can share that.
fabulous.
Yep.
And the fact that you're an engineer in real life, it brings these projects to life. And so your interest in them and the way that you talk about them is just absolutely wonderful. And I appreciate it very much. And so does Jill, and so do many, many other people. So you are appreciated. Fine, sir.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yep, really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Canadian Spider-Man, for that super chat. Thank you. We appreciate you. It says Storm the Poopus, Storm the Poopus, Storm the Poopus.
Yeah.
We love you. We love your Muslim uncle. Yes, we all do. Thank you. And thanks for contributing, buddy. Yes, thank you very much. Again, thank you. And thank you, Canadian Spider-Man, who always does what a Canadian Spider can. And big thanks to the great sleepless one, Mark D with a C.
I'm eternal, like an eternal here. Never go to sleep, I guess. Yeah.
And of course to you, my wonderful first officer. I love you. Thank you for being here. And of course, go ahead and tell everyone about your works, and we'll wrap it up and get out of here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for supporting my work. Guys, I write science fiction short story. If you would buy my stories, and what's more important, I sell them for under $1. That I'm pretty sure that's as low as I can go in order to keep the Amazon thing going. But if you could buy them and leave reviews, that would help me out so much. I'm really trying to get a publisher involved and interested in publishing my short story collection. So I appreciate your support. I also want to thank anyone who modded and who wrenched tonight. Anti-Derivative Jill, thank you for taking out the trash, as well as Steve Mitchum. You took out the trash tonight so wonderfully, and I appreciate you. I want to say thanks to this entire community for just being great friends to Clobby and to Mark and to me and just to each other. You guys are just fabulous. Clobby, thank you for creating this space for all of us to be nerds and geeks and most importantly, friends. And we feel like we're a part of a bigger community. I'd also like to tell every single person who is listening tonight that Mark is a maker. So Mark is he's so talented, and I would love to see his business grow because he makes beautiful things that nerds and geeks love. And so please subscribe to Mark D with a C's channel. And if you need to make anything, we have a bona fide maker in our midst, an engineer with a 3D printer who makes sexy, amazing things like a doomsday machine. He made a doomsday machine. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raquel. Thank you for that. Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciate it. And Hasser, you take care. Retro, thank you for being here, everyone. So Saturday night Star Trek, everyone. We'll see you then. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, gonna be fun. It's always fun. Thank you all for being here tonight. Now I play us out with this Hey, Stuart Mitchell. I'm sorry, man. I almost forgot, dude, because I'm memory.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Stuart Mitchell.
You're forgetting the braces now, too?
Never forget. Dolly had braces. So we appreciate you, bro.
I got to break out my board cubes for the episode on Saturday night.
Yes.
Zax, I saw your review of Jack. And I was blown away. I talked about you at the beginning of the show. I'm so sorry you missed it. But Jack, thank you so much. Your review blew me away, and it almost made me cry. I actually phoned my husband and my daughter and read your review to them. So you are amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Zach. We appreciate you, and always appreciate all of you. So, everyone, have a wonderful rest of the night. And big shout out and credit for this intro by the wonderful
Extra.
Rattel. I'm sorry. Her name is RM First Officer Briggs. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.